Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam, and this is Talk with the Titans. Oh, man. Let me know, family tree, if you're here with me right now and you're live. Oh, man. We're about to get it in. We're actually about to get it in. So, tonight we've actually got my brother Gabs in the building with me. He said he's dying just to get onto the show to tear into some fresh meat. So if you feel as though you are some fresh meat, if you feel as though you're some fresh carcass, if you're ready to be stumbled on, to be trampled on, to be fresh prey, let me know, because I got the main man. I got the medicine. Hey, yo, medicine man. Medicine man. I like that smile. Let me know what you're saying, family tree. Are you here with me right now, or we're coming in a little bit later on? Let me know. Are you
Yo, bro,
here?
what's happening? What's happening? I'm there. I'm here.
Oh,
We here, you know?
Oh, that's perfect.
Peace.
That's perfect. So yeah, so we've got a medicine man here with me right now, and of course, I'm gonna open up to everybody else who would like to get onto the panel. All you have to do is simply email me. Okay, I'm just gonna check my emails right now just to see if I've missed anybody out. If I've missed anybody out, please just quickly email me so I can get you over the link. All right, I want to get you over the link. So, in that being said. Also, I want to promote a little bit of Sarah Garvey, okay? A little bit of Sarah Garvey. So let me just get this up. I'm gonna get it up, share my screen. So yeah, right over here. If you guys can see my screen, let me actually make that a little bit bigger for you guys, okay? A little bit bigger. So yeah, over on Black Eyes TV 7, we have got a awesome debate that shall be taking place between Sarah Garvey, our UK own intellectual over here, versus who? Versus who? The babyface Imam Bashir, coming all the way from America, the Lions of Allah. That's what he's representing. So right now, we've got Sarah Garvey versus Imam Bashir. It's going to be on the authenticity of God, the origins of Muhammad's revelation. All right. And this will be taking place on Monday, the 28th of May, 11 p.m. UK time, baby. UK time, GMT time. All right. And of course, we're going to be taking place in America, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please, okay, strike a little tick over into your diary, into your calendar, mark this on the wall, and let people know that this debate is going down. All right, saying over here, we got some special panel guests who will be giving their views. So you already know, baby. Titans TV is definitely going to be in the building. Oh, man. And of course, Imam Bashir does fall underneath the House of Consciousness family. So, of course, we got Sarnet TV, okay? And you already know, baby, we've got the Sarnet TV Awards taking place. All right, let me just quickly go on there. Real quickly, we've got a Sarnet TV Awards taking place on July the 7th, okay? And if you haven't already, I'm going to need you guys to go over here onto Sarnet TV Awards and make sure you vote Titans TV as the best YouTube channel for information, all right? The best YouTube channel for information. I don't know which other channel you go to check out for information, but I'm pretty sure Titans TV has to be up there. All right. Now, of course, we have over 26 different nomination categories, right? Over 26. We've got people like Gano Grills. We've got people like Mario Beatty, Anthony Browder, Roy Bay, Lord Abba Sharif Bay, Dr. Umar Johnson, Dr. Yaya, Sister Naya, Red Pill, Blue Pill, Jao Nechanev, Wesley Mohammed, KMT Press, Asaim Hotel. We've got all of these great names, okay? Dr. At Ngozi, yeah? All of these great names, okay? Shaka Ahmos, Jabari, Dr. Reggie, Brother Polite, Dr. Ali Muhammad, Sarah Susan, Seton Zion, Lex, Divine Prospect, the Mighty Hebrew. We've got all Tariq Nasheed, all right? We've got all of these wonderful, attorney Zulu, Malik Zulu Shabazz. We've got all of these great names, Dr. Farji, okay? All of these great names, Armin Ross Squad up. And my favorites from the Hebrew camp, General Hashar, you know, Captain Tazaric and so forth, they've all been nominated for an award. So if you want to see your brother, Titans TV, all right? When I say Titans TV, it's the whole collective of Titans TV. That's myself, that's Gabs, that's Sarah Garvey, all right? You want to see us in America receiving an award, all right, for best YouTube information channel, I beg, please go over here to Star Network TV Awards and hit the nominations and make sure you vote for us to get this award, all right? We need to take this home because we're the only UK based individuals, yeah, in the whole of the Star Network TV Awards. We're the only people that's abroad. I think we're the only international, group that's been nominated, let alone UK. So UK, we've been standing up for you guys, yeah, that our American audience, have recognized the greatness of Titans TV and what we do over here. So all I need you guys to do, yeah, is show the support, go over there, hit the nominations, vote for us. If you could vote more than once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, I don't know if it's possible, but if you can, do it, okay? So we can get out there and we can actually win an award and bring it back home to the UK, baby. This award is not for us, it's for us. Let me repeat that again, it's not for us, it's for us. It's for all of us. We're bringing it home for you guys. All right, family, let's get this started. So if you guys would like to come onto the panel, I'm trying my very best not to get any trolls on here, all right? So again, I'm going to actually just share my screen. So if you're not a troll, all right, if you're not a troll, okay, and you are a supporter of Titans TV, what I should really do is get you guys to at least donate £1, and then send in over your email. So I know you're not a troll. If you're a new person, that's what you should really do, because then I know that you're really here to support Titans TV. You're not here to just come on and cause confusion. So right over here, yeah, kalam@live.co.uk, kalam@live.co.uk, right here, all right? Right here. Go there, email me, and you can come onto the platform, all right? I'll send you over a link to come on. If you want to have a discussion with Gabs is the main man right now. I'm trying to take the back seat. Gabs is the main man. So if you want to have a discussion with Gabs, all right, we could talk about anything you like, all right? I know Gabs wanted to discuss a little bit of Islam, and of course, Sarah Garvey is doing something, so, we can do it around that. But otherwise, we can actually do it on anything else that you guys want to discuss. So let me know if you guys are down. All you got to do is email me if you are friends with me via Facebook or any other places like Google Hangouts, all right? Or you've already been inside of a Google Hangouts chat with us. All you have to do is go over, where is it, baby? Go over to your Google Hangouts, right? Got man like Jay Nish, we've got Ezra in the building, we've got Uhuru, we've got Megatron, we've got Sarah Garvey. Let's see any other names I can see. Got COE, Terry, Black Eyes TV, any of you guys, Christian Malik, all right? Any of you guys, yeah, Amu, any of you guys who would like to come onto the panel right now, just inbox me in one of those chats, all right? Sugar, or just, find me via Google Plus, actually. Find me via Google Plus. Sorry for talking so much. Let me just see, is there a Google Plus somewhere? Is there a Google Plus somewhere? Let me quickly check. This ain't good. Okay, there's Google Plus. Let's see, where can you find me also? There should be a Google Plus somewhere. There's a Facebook, but where is the Google Plus? Facebook group? Nope, this is all Facebook. Where is the Google Plus? I apologize, okay? There should be a Google Plus somewhere. So if you can find me on Google Plus as well, go on to Google Plus, try to find me and add me so you can come onto the platform. All right? Now, let us get into it. Gabs, are you ready?
Yo, peace. Yeah, I'm there, man. I'm here.
All right. So, I'm gonna let you just kick it off if that's possible.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I'll kick it off. All righty. So, peace to everyone in the chat room. Peace. I hope everybody's had a good day today. And I hope everybody enjoys their, half-term week. Basically today's discussion, I wanted it to be a discussion, and it's to be fair, it's not just based on Islam. I basically want us to all have a nice discussion about, especially if you're coming from a religious background, just understanding your creators. So the creator, your supreme deity. And the reason why is because, we've had a few debates and I've had a few discussions with a few of our Muslim brothers, I would say. And me personally, I would say coming to grips to understanding, I'm trying to understand the creator, which is Allah from an Islamic point, because, I've had discussions and, certain brothers have said to me things like, um, Allah is uncomprehendable, things like this. Like the human mind cannot grasp Allah, the creator. Yeah. Things like that. And I'm trying to I find that kind of hard to understand, because if I can't understand or grasp a creator, how would I now connect, or how do I now know, how it wants to interact with me, and how do I interact with the entity or with it? How would I understand how would I connect with this creator? And I just brought up to the brother Kalam. I'm just gonna read something. This is coming from ourislam.org. The author is Yasir al-Wakil. I don't know. I think Kalam said he might be a Shia brother. But I'm just going to read this quickly for the people. So this is it. It says, Islam is based on monotheism, Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, is an essential belief for all Muslims. Islam teaches that Allah, the one God, has 99 attributes. Although we can understand some of his attributes, his essence cannot be comprehended by a human's limited mental capacity. Allah has created mankind primarily so that they may know their creator through his creation. Okay. So, I don't know if every Muslim agrees with this. This is coming from the brother. If there are any Muslims in the chat room, press 1 if you agree with what I just read. I'm gonna read it again one more time for the people. So Islam is based on monotheism, Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, is an essential belief for all Muslims. Islam teaches that Allah, the one God, has 99 attributes. Although we can understand some of his attributes, his essence cannot be comprehended by humans' limited mental capacity. Yeah. Allah has created mankind primarily so that they may know their creator through his creation. Okay. So it would be good to get, is Megatron around? Because it'd be good to get him on. And this is why I want some of our religious brothers to come on the panel, whether you're, Muslim, Christian, Hebrew, Buddhist, because you could even talk about your creator, Sikh, wherever you subscribe to, it'd be good for you to come onto the panel. We can have a nice little discussion and get to this understanding. Obviously, I would say from a Christian point of view, me personally, I can understand the creator, or I should say God, from the Christian point of view, because the God from the Christian belief interacts with mankind. It interacts with creation. So from a Christian point of view, God or Jesus comes down to earth and interacts with human beings from a Christian point of view. Now, from an Islamic point of view, or just from this, I don't know if it's all Muslims, God is outside time and space. He doesn't come down and interact with creation. But what I just read, it says that Allah created mankind primarily so that they may know their creator through his creation. Now, I'm trying to get the understanding of how you would know a creator through his creation. Because, for instance, I asked this to the brother Kalam, a spider, or let's just say a tree. Who would you say a creator of a tree was? So a tree that you see every day out on the street, or out in your local park, who would you, in your human mind, who would you say the creator of a tree was? Like, how would you grasp the creator of a tree? One
Bruh.
thing, go on, bro.
I was gonna say, bruh, I don't know about a tree having a creator. The only thing I could say is the tree must have came from another tree. That's the only thing I'm seeing it as. But help me out, teach me, educate me, teacher.
And no, what you're saying is right. As a human being, like I said, to do with our human understanding, what we go by and see is we see that trees are formed from seeds. It's a plant. That's how we see them from our human understanding. This is what we've seen. We've seen trees go through this process of growing, from a seed, growing roots and branching out, and the whole person they died and they shed leaves and that's what we see. Yeah. The same thing with a spider, the creator of a spider, you would say is a spider because you see how spiders die and how they reproduce and how they come about. Do you see what I'm saying? So when when the Quran is saying that you will understand the creator through his creation, from a human point of view, how did we still get to understand this uncomprehendable God or creator? Because remember, it's beyond human beings' mental capacity to understand him. So now we have to look into the creation. But the creation is nothing like the creator. So how will we now understand this creator? How? In what ways? Do you see what I'm saying? So these are the type of questions that I, that ponders my mind, and I'd love for some Muslim brothers to come on and give some clarity. This is what we do on Tykes TV. It's about discussing and learning, and brothers and sisters teaching one another to gain understanding and knowledge. So if there's anyone on the panel, there's some people that's tuned in. I don't know who. If there's anyone in the panel that wants to chime in. Who's that? Yeah, I don't know who that was. Yeah, is there anybody that's on the panel now that wants to come in and give their view or add anything? Jump in.
All right, so we've opened it up. There's quite a few people in the chat right now. I know a few of you guys are coming in from other hangouts. I'm not too sure if have caught everything that's been going on, especially on the YouTube, because I posted this in the Google Hangout. So we've got people like Sam, who's in the building, Lily Curvo in the building, Ibri Math, and the liberal guy as well. So unfortunately, we don't have any individuals that you might like, such as our Muslim brethren in the building. We have got some Hebrews in the building that you might that might help you on this. Ibri Math, you there, King? Ibri. You're gonna have to keep it flowing, Gabs. Keep it flowing.
Okay, no one's trying to jump in. I thought people were jumping on the panel because they was gonna get in with the convo. Who we got in there? We got the Hebrew there. We got someone. I think someone's talking, but the mic might be low. We got Sam the man, and we got liberal. Like Sam, anything you want to say? Because your mic is unmuted. You want to say something? Okay, I guess not.
All right, so people are silent. I think that we're waiting for a topic that we choose, and is it just open or?
Yeah, I don't know. Have you tuned into the show? Have you been listening to what's happening at the beginning so far?
No, I just got hit 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Basically, it was just basically like a open discussion, just talking about understanding, if you're coming from a religious background, your creator. How do you understand or connect with your creator? Your supreme deity.
I see.
Yeah. So understanding that.
I think I've spoken to you before, and that was 2 weeks ago, and you tried to correct me, and I'm not really sure if you are the one that tried to correct me. And I think sometimes you can talk about what you want to push, and other times you have fire in your house, and you just let the details weight, and you have a bigger problem. And this thing that I call bigger problem is the thing that Tommy Robinson is speaking about. And I told you about this, if this is you. And I said, I stand behind this guy. And was it you that told me that, you should not stand behind this guy? Was that you?
Behind which guy? Stand behind which guy? Tommy Robinson?
Tommy. Yeah.
I very much doubt it. I don't think.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously you're opening up to an interesting topic, and I would say that maybe someone else want to respond to that question. I think that we can disagree on details later, but what's happening right now in the West, we're losing our rights, and I think that's something that we can unite on and work and expose, I guess. But maybe someone else want to speak about the topic of God.
Okay. All right, cool, bro. I see Megatron's coming in the building. He's always got something to say. Megatron, what you saying, bro?
Yo, Gabs, how are you, bro?
You saying you're good, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good. I think from the Christian point of view,
your mic's a bit low. I don't know if it's me, but I think your mic's a bit low.
Hello?
There you go. That's good.
Yeah, I think from the Christian point of view, obviously God has revealed himself through Christ. The immortal came mortal, the impassible came passable, the incomprehensible became the comprehensible.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that Allah is this absolute unity, but Allah is this absolute unity with 10 fingers and 2 hands and 2 legs and 2 eyes and a mouth and a backside and a left side and a right side. So I don't know how you can still say that Allah is one. He's more of a compound unity. And I think even from the Sunni point of view, unlike the Shias, they do believe Allah can reveal himself. So on the last day, you will see the face of Allah. Allah descends towards heaven every Friday. So in principle, what Sunni Islam teaches and what Christianity teaches is in fact identical. Now, from the Shia point of view, they believe God can't do any of these things. And for me, that makes God to be seen quite apathetic and quite distant and cold from his creation. He's not really interactive with his creation. And for me to believe in a personal loving God, I need to interact with him on a face-to-face level, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's a good point. That's a good point. And this is why it would be good if we did have some Muslims on the panel, because this is a good discussion, a good topic that we can all talk and gain clarity. Instead of, because I think we need to start stepping away from this. Bashing. Our religion's better than yours. No, my religion's better than yours. Yours is the truth. Mine's the truth. His is the truth. That way is the truth. Your ancestors do this. I think it's more, we need to more come together now and start having proper discussions and actually try to understand, because really and truly, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to understand one another, because people are basing or putting their whole what's the word? From a religious point of view, people are putting their whole eternity into what they believe in, into whatever they believe in. So instead of trying to bash people for asking questions or trying to find out, it should be good for us. It should be good for them to be able to teach and speak about it, so that you may be able to convince other people that, listen, maybe this is the right way, or maybe this is the right way. So it's good for us to come and have the discussions and get understanding of everybody's creators. Go.
But when Muslims appeal to the fitra and they say, can you in your fitra imagine a God that becomes a man, and they use this to appeal to your emotions, to say God can never become a man. But let me ask you, Gabs, in your fitra, in your nation, in your feelings inside, do you believe that if an all-powerful God does exist, then he should have the ability to enter into his own creation and not be locked out of his own creation?
Yeah. Me personally, I would say, that would make sense, because if we're dealing with an all supreme deity, that's all powerful, all knowledgeable, has all the wisdom, doesn't need anything, doesn't require anything, because it's everything. It is it basically. Yeah. For something like that to be able to communicate with limited beings like human beings, where they say that we only sides say we only use a certain percentage of our brain. You heard that theory. We're always learning new things, and all this stuff. Like we've only just come into this age of technology. Before that we was using stone tools and stuff like that. So a deity so big like that and so powerful, me personally, I would say, yeah, that entity, for it to communicate and have a relationship with us, it has to come into a form that we can all understand. So yes, if to me, it would make more sense for this creator to come into a human form so we can have that relationship with us, so we can understand it and go, okay, this is a human being. I understand a human being's emotions. I understand, how a human being thinks. That's what we do. We know, we us as human beings, we can understand our human race. Whereas, like even like other creatures, there's certain creatures in our creation that we don't have we don't have no knowledge about. It's in our creation and we still don't have no knowledge of it. Do you see what I'm saying? There's probably some fish that's down in the depths of the ocean that scientists today still have no understanding of, no knowledge of. So a deity like that, a supreme God, I think personally, for me, my point of view, that it would have to come down as a human being. If he came down as a human being, or she came down as a human being, that would make logical sense. But the whole outside time and space, and not being able to come into creation, boy, that's a different topic, because then I would ask the question then. That's a different topic, because then I would ask the question then. Because then I think you got me then. Because then I think you got me then.
Yeah, Gabs,
Yeah.
go on, bro.
Yeah, because the next question would be to me now. Because remember, this is a being that's outside time and space now, has now given us a message. And we now we understand this message, and we know what this being who's outside time and space can't come into creation. We can't comprehend it, but yeah, it's giving us a message which we understand. Like to me, that doesn't make no sense. So I would then look at something that is in our creation, like a fish. A fish lives in the sea. If a fish was to write a book, would we be able to understand it? You see what I'm saying? The fish is in its own domain. It lives underwater. That's its domain. That's its area. If it comes out of that area, it will die. So the fish is in its own domain. If a fish was to write a book, and and the book made its way to land, could we understand what that fish was saying? And that's even dealing with something that is in our creation. So imagine something that you're saying that you can't comprehend, that's outside of creation, outside time and space. It doesn't consist of anything in creation, but now it's giving you a message which you understand. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Gabs, do you not feel also that if you're saying that God is so transcendent that he can't possibly enter into his own, do you not think that makes God seem very cold and very distant and very apathetic towards his creation? And it feels like God is this Kim Jong-un dictator in the skies that, sends a random prophet here and there to do his business whilst he's in the skies all by himself. Do you not think that makes God a little bit, like, a bit cruel almost?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm on about?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And you know what? Yeah, I would say, what's the word? Me personally, I think it's the human beings that are, lowering the level of this supreme deity by saying, if you're going to say that a creator or a God that created everything can't come down and teach and can't come down and interact with his creation, I think you basically lower the standards of that creator, because we see even from human beings and in our creation, animal life and human beings, you see that a mother and a father, or they when they have a child or children from young, you see that there's teaching, there's understanding, there's learning. You have to interact with your surroundings to grow. You have to interact with things around you, interact with your environment. You have to interact with your parents. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the process of how we as how we grow and how we learning and grow our knowledge and our wisdom. So if you're going to say that there's a deity out there that doesn't need to come down and do these things, you know, he's just putting you there. You're nothing unto it. How are you now going to get that connection? Like, you have a connection or bond with your friends growing up from school. You have a connection and bond with your mother and your father or your siblings. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they're near you. You know, they raised you. They helped teach you. So how are we now going to feel that same bond and connection with something that's outside time and space? So, like, that's like me, Megatron. Do you have a good, deep relationship or a good connection with a fish in the bottom of the deep blue sea?
No.
Exactly. But yet, this is something that's in your creation. So
Except
imagine.
when I have some fish and chips, bro. I have a very good connection.
Do you see what I'm saying? So how we now, I just want to know how we now going to understand this creator. If he's outside time and space, anything that we think of in our creation, he's not that. How are we now going to bond and connect with this supreme deity? How? Like, you know, is there anybody else in the panel that could probably chime in?
Flesh and
Maybe.
dwelling among us.
Say that again?
By the word taken on flesh and dwelling among us.
All right then. So maybe I don't know. Maybe people might know that. I know there's people in the chat be like, "Oh yeah, your sense make no sense." You know, we got brothers that are, yeah, what you saying is nonsense. I won't be. It's not about nonsense. These are just genuine questions that come into my mind. It's not like we're bashing or, you know, trying to belittle someone's religion or not. These are just genuine questions that come into my mind. I'm fascinated by, you know, religion and all this stuff. I'm fascinated. You know, this is what it's about. I love gaining knowledge and understanding, which we all should be. You know, we all should be thriving to do. So if there's anybody else in the panel that, you know, may have had the same questions or can chime in and give some understanding, please jump in. And you as well, brother Kalam, if you're there as well, man, chime in on some of your thoughts, bruh.
You know, I'm a Sunni Muslim. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm a Sunni Muslim, and I have been
Peace.
watching Titans TV for a while now,
Yeah.
and I want to say that I don't understand what Megatron is saying, that Allah is a compounded God and that he needs to come down to his creation for us to understand him. I think that is completely BS, because we know Allah because of his divine revelation that he gave to Prophet Muhammad. And that's how we know who Allah is and what Allah is all about. And he knows about the creation everything that he needs to know. He knows when things is gonna happen. He knows what's beyond the earth. He knows what's under the sea. He knows everything. You cannot be a true Muslim if you don't accept that, right? So we don't have an expectation or this belief that Allah needs to come down in a physical form for him to understand us. Allah doesn't need us. We need Allah, right? Because there's no point in a God if we think we owe him something. We are his servants of Allah, and we don't ask questions like, why doesn't Allah come down to this physical form? Because he doesn't understand us or whatever, you know. And
Okay.
also I have something to say about this Titans TV. I have been watching it for a while, and as a Sunni Muslim, I'm highly offended how we are being portrayed on this channel. And I think for you guys to say we are not here to attack Muslims, blah blah, whatever, I think we've gone past that point right now. I think you guys have done the amount of slandering about us Muslims, Sunni Muslims, particular, not the Shia ones, because I know that you guys love the Shia ones. But I have seen a lot of slandering that we are like terrorists and we're gonna blow stuff up in
Whoa.
Ramadan and whatnot. And whatever you guys were saying in Speaker's Corner, I just want to say that, I'm just here because you guys are talking about Islam, and I just wanted to chime in. But I don't believe it that you guys are, not trying to mock our religion, because I've seen previous videos where you guys did do that, actually.
Okay. So
Okay,
thank you
Gab,
for that.
can I go
No,
first,
hold,
bro?
hold on a sec, Megatron. Trust me, I'm gonna let you speak. You know, I let the sister, you know, get her views and her her points across. You know, to this discussion with me, we're going to make sure it goes nice and smoothly. You know, no interrupted, no slandering. So I was gonna say what I did want to say to the sister is first thing is I don't think you will find any videos of the brother Kalam or me, anybody saying anything about, you know, Muslims are terrorists or the Sunnis are terrorists and something about blowing up, they're gonna blow up something you said or something to do with Ramadan. I don't think you won't find any videos of that. You know, you're free to say what you want. Going back to the first issue you were talking about to do with God, you said Allah doesn't need anything, but we need Him. Okay, so my question would then be to you is, obviously Allah needed something because Allah created human beings while He was in eternity. Yeah. So we have an eternal deity, an eternal God who doesn't need anything, doesn't want anything, but decides to create human beings. For what reason is this eternal deity that doesn't need anything, doesn't want anything, is in its eternal bliss, in his perfection? Why now, in his eternity, does he decide to create human beings? Do you see what I'm saying? Why now would he do that? Because remember, there is no us at this point in time. So when you're saying that we need Allah, there's no us because he's in eternal. Because unless you're going to say that we was there with him in this eternity, we was on his mind in eternity, and he said, you know what, human beings need us. So I don't need human beings, they need me. So I need to create them now because they need me. Unless you're going to say we was with him in his mind throughout that whole eternal experience, yeah. At that, you know, we only came about at a certain point in his eternity. So my question to you is, why would an eternal deity who's in bliss, in his own perfection, why would he now need to create some limited-minded, human beings?
Because he wanted to test the human form, if they're going to worship him or not. Either they're going to follow the devil.
Sorry to cut you, sister. Sorry. First already, you just basically answered it. You just said he wanted. So Allah did want something because you said he doesn't need, but obviously he did need because you said he wanted to do something. So he did want. So when Muslims are saying Allah doesn't need, he doesn't want, he doesn't, I don't understand because straight away you just said he wanted to test. So the answer that you should have said is Allah did want something. He wanted to test his children to see whether they would worship him or go against him. And the ones that didn't go against him, he would reward them with paradise. And the ones that did, he would then send to hell, the hellfire. So you just answered your question yourself by saying, yes, he wanted. Straight away, you already said it.
So wanting and needing are two different types of things. Like, of course, Allah wants us to worship him. Of course, Allah wants us to ask him for forgiveness, but he doesn't need it.
No, but what I'm trying to say is if this is an eternal being, like you said, he doesn't need anything, yeah? You said he doesn't need it. If he doesn't need it, why is he now going to punish you if you don't do it? So you're saying he doesn't need our worship. So if he doesn't need our worship because he doesn't need anything, why are you now going to punish me if you don't need anything? If I don't worship you because you don't need worship, why are you now going to punish me for not worshiping you? Because you don't need it. It's not gaining anything. You're not gaining anything from my worship because you don't need anything, like you just said. Allah doesn't need anything. So if he doesn't need anything, he doesn't want anything, why is he now creating us? And why does he need us for worship? Because it's not going to help give him superhuman more strength. It's not going to, what's it for? Is it just to, make him feel satisfied? Okay, these guys worship me. But you just said he doesn't need anything. But yet he's going to punish me if I don't do what he says. Like, that's where it gets a bit confusing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Allah wants to save the humankind from hellfire. He wants that. Like, he doesn't want the human population to burn in hell. That's why he sent the mercy of all mankind, Prophet Muhammad, to save the people. And if people have free will, right? They can hear the message of Allah and they choose whether they want to obey the message or not. That's not a fault of Allah. That's your fault, right? He gave you the opportunity and you choose if you want to do it or not. Like when you say he needs my prayer, that's something else than he wants it. You know what I'm saying? I see a two different definition of needing and wanting. I think we are not on the same level like that.
Can I
Okay.
interject?
Okay, go on. So, do you know? Sorry to cut you, Lily. You can, yeah, but Megatron, because I don't want him to lose his. Is he still on? I don't want him to lose his train of thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megatron, and then Lily, you can go straight after Megatron.
I just wanted to say like real quick thing, because she just said, you know, we hear the message and we can choose to follow
Okay,
it.
go on.
So, you know,
Okay, great.
you can choose to believe things, I guess. So if you tell me unicorns are real, I can choose to believe they are or aren't. Evidence has nothing to do in the equation. We have free will to choose to believe things without any evidence, basically.
Yeah, let me add my 2 cents in. First of all, Sia had a bit of a go at me for saying Allah is a compound unity. However, when your Salafiyah scholars say Allah has 10 fingers and 2 hands and 2 feet and 2 eyes, then how can you say that Allah is a singular unified being? He isn't. He's more of a compound unity. And number 2, I didn't say that God needs to become his creation because he want, or because to learn about his creation. I didn't say you strawman me. I said God entered into his own creation because out of his immense love for us, in order for us to have a personal relationship with our Lord. And number 3, you started whining about how Titans TV, you know, promotes hatred and stuff like that. However,
Yes,
in
they
the Quran,
do. They promote
okay, 1
hatred.
second.
Titans TV do promote hatred
Okay.
against Sunni Muslims.
Okay, 1 second. Let me finish. However, in the Quran, Allah says that he created the hatred which the Christians and Jews have. So I don't think you should take it out on Titans TV, but take it out on Allah. And number 4, you talk about free will. However, there's an authentic Sahih narration where the Prophet Muhammad says Allah creates people for hell and he creates people for heaven, which is why in that narration Muhammad said even babies will go to hell when they die in childhood. So there is no free will in Islam.
That's a lie. That's an absolutely lie. What
Do you
you're
want me
saying.
to provide the hadith?
That's an absolute
If
lie.
I provide the hadith, you never come on Titans TV, okay?
Muslims who die, children who die, they go automatically to paradise.
Sorry, Sia.
What you're saying is not true. Yeah.
Sia, sorry. Nah, sorry to cut you. What I don't
Yeah,
want to have
cut off. I'm being cut off all the time. Like, is it because I'm a Sunni Muslim?
Nah. I'm just basically trying to stop you guys from arguing because, like what I said at the beginning, I don't want it to. I want us to have a nice dialogue and discussion, you know, where you can both talk and stuff like that. That's why I allowed you to speak before. I'm not. I think you've got some bias already in your mindset, and maybe you know some rage. I can see you built up.
I'm not
for the last
raging.
couple
I'm
months.
not raging.
Okay,
No.
but then, well, what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to be as fair as possible. I'm not trying to cut you. Nobody's trying to cut you. I just thought that at that moment in time, possibly you and Megatron might get into that's a lie. This is a lie. Da. So I'd rather you guys just, you know, take time and just, you know,
well, he's a
discuss.
known liar. Sorry, he's a known
Say again?
liar. He's a known liar.
All right.
Then. Let me just come back in and make sure I've got full control of the panel right about now. Was really good though, family tree. I was trying to take a little sabbatical and check up with everybody else and see what's going down. Shouts out to my queen Janaya that's holding it down right now. She's on her live stream. So salute to you, queen. You know, I know you was up in Leeds doing your thing. You got my full support and everything that you do as well. So yes, now let's actually get back into this. So earlier on, there was a topic. So what was the topic again? And you know, Sia, what's good, queen? We'll get you involved. You know, we'll get you to air out, you know, all the things that you actually have against, you know, Titans TV and anybody else on the panel itself. The only thing I will ask you to do is please, no ad hominems. Okay, no ad hominems. And of course, I don't need to tell you this. There's no profanity allowed over here at Talk with the Titans or Titans TV. We literally have 3 rules. 3 rules, baby. 3 rules. The first rule is to keep your mics muted at all times, and that goes out to everybody. Okay, to have your mics muted all times. The second rule is to respect our Titans cipher. So when they're speaking, please, nobody interrupt. Just keep your mics on mute. Right now, we've got no special guest Titans. So right now, everybody on the panel everybody on the panel, if they view themselves as such, is a Titan. And that's only if you view yourself as such, okay? Okay? And the third rule is this, of course, I just said it earlier on, is please, we don't accept any profanity or any ad hominems, because we realize that this is a family-friendly show. And anytime an ad hominem, takes, precedence, it kind of has a slippery slope effect where the whole chat kind of descends into some chaotic isfet type of behavior and movements. So I'm going to open it back up to my brother Gabs real quickly to, set the premise. And then afterwards, I'll get everybody on who has something to say. And then I get my queen Sia on to actually voice her concerns in a nice, concise fashion. All right, Gabs, the floor is yours.
Okay, peace. Yeah. So basically, just to refresh it from the beginning, we was the topic was understanding our creator and how our creator what's the word? How do we connect with our creators? That was the topic, and we was going somewhere. It was kind of good, but I know I wanted to bring on the brother Think, if you can, Kalam. Brother, there's a brother in there called Think. I think he wants to come in and speak. He had something to say.
Okay, perfect. And of course, family, since we're here right now, shouts out to my brother Joe Hassalam, who's now joined the panel. I know you've been trying to get in, so salute to you, King. But also, if I can get you guys here to actually hit the like button like crazy, because we've got over like 236 people tuned in right now. All right. And, we've only got like 52 likes. All right. So if we can just make sure we increase those like buttons, okay? The like button is if you like anybody on the panel right now, if anybody on your panel tickles your tickles, hit the like for them. And if you're gonna hit it for somebody on the panel, let me know. If we love Gabs' smile, oh man, the medicine man. Hit the like button and say Gabs. If you like Megatron, hit it up and say Megatron. If you like Sia, hit it up and say Sia. If you like Zulu, hit up and say Zulu, etc., etc., etc. Okay. If you love it because you just love Titans TV and this is what you do. This is the conscious community's hub. Like this is the source of information right here. This is the source of debates and discussions and all sorts. So, hit it up and hit the like button. If you're here just to troll, hit the dislike button. I don't mind. Just simply say why you dislike us. Don't hit the dislike button and run away. Say why you dislike it. So we, we actually accept positive criticism. So there's a reason why you don't like the show so far, just let us know what it is so we can improve upon it, all right? If you're just here to hate and say you're a troll, just say, hey, I'm a troll. There ain't no shame in the game. There's a few people that hit me up here and say, I'm a troll, I'm like, all right, salute. I love you for that. At least you know where you stand and we know where you stand and we can have that mutual respect. You dig? All right, so let me get my brother Think in the building. Think, are you there? Think. Go ahead, King or Queen. I'm not too sure who you are. I know you've unmuted your mic, but we can't hear you. We can't hear you. We live, baby. We live. We lit, baby. We lit. Come on. Let's get it in. All right, you know what, yeah? Just to shake things up since everybody's being a bit silent right now.
Let me know when I can speak. I'll wait for my turn, but I have something to say.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go on. Let me get you in. Go on.
All right. So I'm quite well read when it comes to Islam, especially Sunni Islam. Mm-hmm. So what I've learned from being at your broadcast is that Shias behave very different from their manners. They're much more calm in their ideology. It's not about taking over the world. We wait for Mahdi, which is fine. When I see him, I might rethink things, but that's a big difference. And our sister here, or maybe I'm not allowed to call her sister since she's not allowed to be my friend according to the Quran, 551, 328, whatever, when are Muslims not offended? So I'll ask the people in comment section as well, when are Muslims not offended? And after being your show, I see that Shias behave very different. And if I can give you some creds and feedback is thank you for letting me know that. It's day and night when it comes to manners. So yeah, thank you. I'll tell you that.
Definitely. I would say that, but I wouldn't just say simply Shias as well. And we're only talking about those that we've come in contact with, because I'm pretty sure just like every single human being, there's good human beings and bad human beings. But, you know, especially when we're at Speaker's Corner, we can see that the Salafi, Wahhabi style movements, these types of individuals, we can see that they have a lot of aggressiveness in their characteristics. This isn't the representative of all Sunni Muslims, because we've got people on the platform such as Joe Haslam and other Sunni Muslims that come onto the platform and you're like, what? And they're breaking down some next type of information on a next level, calm, you know, they're very well composed as well. So it's not all, you know, Sunni Muslims. It's only a very small sect, okay, of Sunni Muslims that behave such. And I don't even want to say Sunni Muslims. I like to narrow it down and say these are the individuals that are part of the Wahhabi Salafiyah movement. And it's not all the individuals that are part of the Wahhabi Salafiyah movements, because we've got some excellent Salafi brothers that hit me up every single day. And then, you know, they've kind of, and I've kind of seen there is a next type of ideology that's creeped into the Salafiyah movement, okay, that's infected them. And they are even speaking of like Sheikh Al-Fawzan, you know, and the other Madkhalis and so forth. And I know that's a derogatory term used by the people, but I'm going to have to say the Madkhali movement has been speaking out against these individuals since the 90s, okay? So there's a certain sect within inside of a subset that continue with a bad behavior, and you can see they're actually infecting other, you know, Muslims in their travels as well. But unfortunately, we don't have a nice amount of array of various different Muslims that come onto the platform, because if you did, trust me, I keep saying this, you know, like you will actually have, you know, a newfound love for Islam, because Islam is not a monolith as we're being shown on certain platforms. There's like usually this one Saudi Arabia, you know, strict way of Islam. And that's not the end all and be all of Islam. That's just one sect that's got the loudest voice right now and is taken over. Okay. Sorry, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to respond to that. So yeah, I mean, not saying not all, you know, is there any group that is, you know, anything 100%? Of course, it's not all in any groups, you know, but that's not how you measure things. You don't measure, is there 100% of Shias, 100% of Sunni, 100% of atheists. You measure of those who cause the problem, how many of them are in a certain group. That's how you measure it. So you measure from the problem, you know, how many actually, you know, are divided in this group. And if you actually measure it from that way, then you will see, you know, that we're dealing, you know, 99% of the suicide bombings are not Shias, you know, 99% are Sunnis. That is how we measure it. Unless you actually adopt this thinking, you will do a logical fallacy.
That's true. That's true. I'm hearing you.
Yeah, Ali.
I'm hearing you. And then we still have to go into the subset, because it's not Ash'ari. As far as I know, I don't know if there's any Ash'ari Muslims or Sufi Muslims or, you know, name some other ones, Muslims that are carrying on these type of terrorist or terrorist attacks in the UK or in Europe. I'm not seeing any of these individuals, okay? It's only from this one particular sect that is actually,
and terrorist you know, attacks is the least of our problems. Unless you get this, you're gonna make huge mistake. What we're gonna look for is values. All right, I'm gonna mute my mic. Sorry if I interrupted you.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. And you know what? Let me get the controversy. Hold on, Megatron. I need to just stir the pot real quickly. All right. We got 252 people in the building here, but I'm about to stir the pot. So right now, before I stir the pot and I get my sister in the building to rip off some heads right about now, yeah, I need you lot to hit the like button and share it, okay, like crazy, because it's about to get heated. All right, it's gonna get heated. So Sia, I know you've been waiting. I know you've been wanting to have your turn. So let me get you into the building and, you know, have your say, Queen. Come on, let's get it.
What I have to say is that the claim that 99% of all terrorist attacks are Muslims is completely BS. Again, how do you know they're Sunni Muslims? Were you there? Are you there? What kind of statistics are you following, claiming that those are Muslims? To me, the people that are doing such acts aren't even Muslims to begin with, because Allah tells us to not kill innocent people. And for these people to go and kill innocent lives, they have nothing to do with Islam. What I'm just hearing right now is another propaganda tactic to stigmatize Sunni Muslims and to make people believe who are ignorant that we're some kind of savages that go around the world and just kill people randomly, which isn't not even part of our faith. And it really pisses me off that this guy says that, you know, I'm part of the Sunni, you know, the Sunni sect, if you want to call that. And for him to basically say that most of us are these savages, that really pisses me off, because you don't have the right to generalize. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, all the non-Muslims are this or that, or all black people are this or that. That's just not accurate.
Oh, no, Megatron. I'm not too sure he actually generalized as such. But are you literally saying to me that if any Muslim kills somebody, that they're not Muslim for killing somebody? Is that what you're saying to me?
And let me know when I can respond. I'll mute my mic.
Because I've kind of seen that, like, everybody says, no, this group is not Muslims, or this person who's done a terrorist attack is not Muslim, but yet they follow the tenets of Islam, but they're not Muslims because they do something that Muslims or a certain group of Muslims don't like. So I'm trying to figure out what do you mean by that? What do you mean they're not Muslims? Are you saying because a Muslim kills another person that they're not Muslim?
In some cases, when like ISIS, the group of ISIS, they're considered not to be Muslims by the shuyukh from the kibar al ulama, if you know that, like the big senior scholars, they consider the ISIS not to be Muslims, and I follow their ruling on that. And in some cases, if a Muslim commits such atrocious crimes, they are considered not to be Muslims. But I'm not saying that all of the Muslims that kill somebody is automatically a non-Muslim. I'm not claiming that, but they don't share my Islam. Basically, they don't share my belief of faith.
Okay, and may I ask you what style of Muslim you are?
Well, I'm actually majority. I am Sunni, but I do have a dogmatic sense of the Salafists. So I do believe in like that Allah has His attributes, and I mostly follow the senior scholars of Saudi Arabia, basically in the rulings. Yeah, that's predominantly what I'm following. But I don't follow the method of calling people innovators and the trend that has been going on now.
All right. So I take it that you're a Sunni soft Salafist. That's how I'm going to style you, as a Sunni soft Salafist.
Yeah, if you can call it that. Yeah, something like that.
Tidance, she strawman me. I think it's important that we don't misrepresent our opponents. Maybe she did that by mistake.
Yep.
But I didn't say 99% of the terrorists are Muslims. I said 99% of the suicide bombings are Sunni Muslim. That's what I said. So I don't believe 99% of the terrorists are Muslims.
Okay. And do you have any statistics to back that up?
I have a page here. No, it's not 99%. I don't have that. But I have actually one, if you guys are interested, when it comes to suicide bombings from 2016. If you guys want, because I like numbers.
Yeah.
Let me get it for you, because I think it's important. Let me see if I have it here. Maybe I can take the mic in 2 minutes. Maybe someone else want to speak.
No problem. That's always one.
For you.
Well, you know what we say. We kind of started this trend at Speaker's Corner a few years ago. If you are truthful, provide your evidence, or provide your evidence if you are truthful. That's one of my most famous sayings at Speaker's Corner. So let's get it. Megatron. Then we're gonna go over to Zulu afterwards. I see you lot. I like the way you guys know how to get my attention. I love that. All right, Megatron, go ahead, King.
Interesting. If you're truthful, provide the evidence. I just got accused of Allah will send little babies to hell, but let me provide the hadith for you. It's from Sahih Muslim, book 33, hadith 6436, and it's been authenticated by the likes of Al-Albani and Darussalam. And let me read it to you. Aisha, the mother of believers, said that Allah's messenger was called to lead the funeral prayer of a child of the Ansar. I said, O Allah's messenger, there is happiness for this child who is a bird from the birds of paradise, for he committed no sin, nor has he reached the age when one can commit sin. So he was a child like a baby. And then the Prophet replied, O Aisha, it may not be so, because God created people for paradise whilst they were in their father's loins, and He created people for hell whilst they were in their father's loins. So doing good deeds in Islam has absolutely no effect on whether you go to heaven or to hell. It's already predestined for you. And my point is, how can God be omnibenevolent when He sends little babies to hell, man? Isn't God a God of the defenseless and those of no sin? Where is the love? Where is the mercy, man?
Uh-oh.
I want to react to that, if I may.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
First of all, there is no such thing in that hadith that say that these babies are going to go to hell. What actually Prophet Muhammad is saying, that by the mercy of Allah, people are going to go to hell or heaven. And if you go to other hadith, you will see that babies are automatically go to heaven because they are sinless. We don't believe it like the Christians that babies are born with sin. That's your faith, not ours.
Okay, let me reserve. First of all, if you read it in context, Aisha is saying this baby will be one of the birdies of paradise. And what does Muhammad say? It may not be so. So he's admitting that there's a possibility that this baby will be eternally tortured in the hellfire. Then you also critique the Christian position of original sin. However, there's another authentic Sahih narration where Muhammad said, the only reason why wives cheat on their husbands is because of the transgression of Eve. So again, you have this concept of original sin that was taught by your prophet. So if you're condemning Christianity, please condemn your prophet first.
Wait! Shots fired at every single angle. God damn, I love these points. You know when you do checkmate? No. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, ah, man. All right, let me get Zulu in the building. Brother Zulu, let's get it.
Yeah, happy Sabbath, everybody.
Man,
Yeah, I heard earlier talking about some, how do you know identify if they're a real Muslim or not? What I would say is, as a Christian, I know how it feels, when it comes to, the no treatments, chief Scotsman's fallacy, where people say, so and so is a Christian, some people tell me Hitler's a Christian, maybe because he was christened, or maybe because it was culturally, resembling Christian practices. But was he really a Christian by definition or by following? Because the definition of Christian is Christ follower. So I sympathize with my Muslim brother when they say, ISIS is not Islamic, or so and so is not Islamic, because I don't consider Catholicism Christianity, due to the pagan practices. So when what we can do to define who is a real Muslim or who is a real Christian is address the cornerstone of the faith, which is the book, and actually study it, and formulate and understand, and using this book to identify who is the real Muslim or Christian. That's what I would say about what was said before.
I thank you, Zula. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So let's open it up again. If anybody's got, all right, we got Curvo. Let's get it in, Queen.
Oh, okay. I wanted to say in response to what Megatron said about the hadith, claiming that the babies will go to hell, by saying that that there was a possibility that they would go to heaven or hell. He wasn't asserting that they will definitely go to hell. So at most, I think you're being a little bit dishonest when you're saying that it's definitely saying that those babies will go to hell.
No,
He said
I
there's
didn't
a
say that. I
possibility.
said there is a chance that the baby might go to hell. And if you go on YouTube right now, type in Dr. Bilal Phillips, babies going to hell. Even he admits that there is a chance some babies that die in their infancy, little babies that die, will be eternally tortured in hell. So this is
but
not
you
my
just
own
said
opinion.
chance.
I'm quoting to you Muslim scholars. And by the way, this is a critique on the Sunni hadith. This doesn't apply to the Shia hadith, and I highly respect Shiism.
Yeah, it's not in the Quran anywhere. This is a hadith. But you just admitted, you said there's a chance. But when you go up to Muslims, you always say, why do Muslims send babies to hell? Well, Islam says and Allah says that babies are going to burn in hell. So you should probably stop saying that. That's all.
But okay, whatever.
You made a good point, Lily.
So, let me see what's going on right now. So let's, there's some new people that's been joining in on the chat section. Family, again, I'm going to say hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Okay, let's get more people in and let's get some more interaction going on, okay? So far, the panel may just be full, but what I would love to do is take some questions from, the chat section. What I need you guys to do is just tag Titans TV. All right, tag Titans TV. and post up your questions. Okay, post up your questions or your comments, and I will read them out right now live on air. Okay, if that's possible, let's do it. And just a quick little break. I'm going to take a quick break and go to an advertisement. Advertisement. And the advertisement is this. Okay, so for those of you guys that know or don't know, we've got a debate coming up between my brother Sarah Garvey and my other brother from across the pond, the babyface Imam Bashir. All right, and this is going to be on the authenticity of God, kind of like the topic that we've been touching upon earlier on with my brother Gabs. And we're also going to be debating the origins of Muhammad's revelation. And this is what these two individuals will be debating. But hopefully we can actually do a pre-debate topic right now and speak on these two different topics: the authenticity of God, and the origins of Muhammad's revelation. Okay, so let's see if we can do that, if it's possible. All right, so these are the two topics that's available right now. But of course, I'm open to anything that you guys drop. So first of all, we've got a question coming in from Sophia Films, and it says this: do Muslims have the right to call out hate when the entire Quran trashes non-Muslims, Jews, Christians in ways Islamophobes never do throughout Quran? Whew. So there's a lot of shots being flung and fired with that one statement there. Let's quickly see what else is going on. Please, can you ask the Muslim why more Muslims join ISIS than the British Army? God damn, you lot are unrelenting. Let's see, another one. Saeed Haida says, where did my man Raza go? Oh my gosh. For real, where is Raza at right now? I need my brother Raza. She say it's it's fasting month, and say man, they can't handle the heat. Now I'm joking, man. I'm joking. Hopefully we'll get Raza in the buildings very soon. I know he's been dying to come on, so soon we'll get him on. I know you respect Islam, but what is it that makes you not become a Muslim? I have my own way of life and my own way of viewing things. That's the reason why. Non-Muslims in Islam don't go to hell, only the unjust do. All right. So let me quickly see. God, bare respect for you and Megatron for backing the Shia. Salute all day long. When Allah created humans, why did He give all us knowledge of existence? All right, cool. Let me quickly go back into this and see what the family is actually saying. So, there is those two topics that I made mention of. Does anybody want to tackle either one of those, or are we just going to jump on whatever you guys want to talk about on the panel? Let me know. I'm opening up.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, someone said, why do Muslims join ISIS? I think the question should be, are the people joining ISIS Muslim? Because I think all these wars in the Middle East, including Syria and ISIS, I don't think they're Islamic. I think it's an engineered system from America. I think personally, Obama and Hillary Clinton and a lot of the elites are involved in formulating ISIS. Because as everyone knows, the Middle East is the most focused part of the world in terms of wars and economy. So to create a group like this, not only would it taint Islam and cause drama and cause confusion, but it would also be kind of used as a group to be able to control the area or that region. So I personally would refrain from putting ISIS and Islam in the same category, because the majority of Muslims that you'll meet, around the streets or in your daily lives, don't want to kill you or don't even have any Islamic intentions. So ISIS intentions. So yeah, let's not put them in the same category. Personally, that's what I would say.
Can I add my 2 cents, please? Kalam?
Can I say something as well?
Can I go first,
dude.
please?
Go loose.
Right. I've been recently studying about the early Sahaba of the Prophet, and I've been discussing with Raza on WhatsApp, and he's very knowledgeable about this stuff. And I come from Azerbaijan, which is a predominantly Shia country, and the Shias and the Christians and the Jews have been living side by side in Azerbaijan peacefully for hundreds and hundreds of years. Now the question is, why is Shia Islam so much more peaceful than Sunni Islam? The reason is because when you study the early Sahabas, people like Khalid bin Walid, Abu Bakr, these people were monstrous killers. They dug graves and they put men in there and they burnt them alive. And these people are what ISIS implement, are the people that ISIS follow. So it comes at no surprise that ISIS are doing these barbaric, monstrous atrocities in the 21st century because they're following the people that corrupted the message of Islam. People like Khalid bin Walid and Abu Bakr, these tyrants that forced Islam on people's necks, that burned people alive, enslaved women and children, occupied territories. So it's not with the correct interpretation, Islam can be a very peaceful religion. But when you have in your Sunni hadith where Muhammad supposedly says the best three caliphs are the three generations after me, meaning Abu Bakr, Uthman, and Omar, then that's going to cause a lot of problems because now Muslims will look at these Sahabi and they think, oh, these are the quote unquote the righteously guided caliphs, and they will implement what they implemented. And those people were absolutely evil by any standard. So I think this is where the crux of the matter lies.
Can I respond? Okay. I think my problem with what you're saying, Megatron, is as a Christian, there are many cults or many groups that claim to be Christian, like the Jehovah's Witness. And in the past, there's been many terrorist Christians in the past, like the Crusaders. I'm sure some of these radical Christians, you wouldn't put them as, taint them as the whole of Christianity. Because again, a lot of it is
One
engineered
second,
by
you're
the
not listening.
government. Hold
You're not.
on. Don't interrupt me. No one interrupted you when you were speaking. Um, as you know, the government likes to, and this is part of the end time prophecy. If you're familiar with your Bible, there'll be a lot of wars and rumors of wars according to Revelation, and there'll be a lot of conspiracy. And what they're doing is they're using ISIS and they're using all these cults and these race wars to swerve us away from uniting or swerve us away from normal human ethics. Instead of working together, we are pointing at each other, hating Muslims, hating each other, rather than finding solutions. And I think by being brainwashed to think that is ISIS is Islamic, it's foolish because you know that the government is behind this. How did those people walking around in the desert get those weapons? How did they get those weapons? How did they get the trades with the oil? It's so deep and everything's interconnected with each other. You should not taint Islam with ISIS. It's idiotic. But anyway.
Again, you strawman absolutely everything I said. I first of all compared the Prophet's closest companions would be the equivalent of Jesus' closest companions of Peter, James, and John. Did Peter, James, and John go on rape, pillaging, killing, burning men alive, raping women, enslaving children? No, they didn't. But according to the Sunni narrative, people like Abu Bakr and Khalid bin Walid did. And this is the fundamental difference that you're missing out, is that look at how the closest companions of the main figures in Christianity and Islam interpreted the teachings of those two central figures. So you bringing out all these red herrings about Jehovah Witnesses is you not engaging in my arguments accurately.
What you're hearing now is classic taqiyya. What you're hearing now is classic taqiyya about the Sahaba and about Sunni Muslims. I have never seen a much more vile cult like the Shiites, right? They go and curse out the companions. They go curse out Aisha radiallahu anha. They go curse out us Sunni Muslims, call us kuffar. They go in Yemen, kill Sunni Muslims. They go and cut up children on Ashura. They cut up themselves. And you want to tell us, I mean me, that they are the most precious, peaceful sect there is. And you like this, and the Shia always use like taqiyya. They want to like present this image of themselves to the world. But the one who studies Islam and who studies different sects, and I'm not saying that I'm like a scholar or anything, but I do have a little bit of knowledge about Shia. They use this taqiyya all the time. And if you watch the news, what's happening in Yemen, they're slaughtering Sunni Muslims. They're slaughtering them. And to say that they're like this peaceful and they're not aggressive is simply not true. And the slandering of the companions that they were uh, burning people alive and raping women and stuff like that. There is no hadith that you can show me, Megatron, where you can find that Abu Bakr or any other companion that was trusted by Prophet Muhammad killed, raped women, and burnt them alive.
Or how you're going to regret your words.
Well, I want to see it then.
Megatron, let me get this one. This one is quite. It's an open
just say something
door.
quickly?
She's just gonna regret this.
Can I just say something? Your Wahhabi clerics are doing a good job of bombing people in Yemen. So before you blame the Shias, look at your own Wahhabi clerics.
I want to.
You want evidence, right? So let's just keep our opinions aside. So maybe Titans TV. We shouldn't do personal attacks. So I guess I'm just gonna refer to Muhammad saying that woman's brain maybe it's half of a man. Based on what he said. So I guess I'm just gonna provide evidence for you. So don't hate me for providing evidence. First of all, we had a previous speaker here saying that you shouldn't judge Muslims or Islam based on what deviating Muslims are doing, right? So yes, of course, you shouldn't blame Islam for Muslims using drugs, right? This is just logical fallacy. So if someone is a Muslim and use drugs, that's because he's acting on his own desire. What you want to do is you want to see if you can match a behavior with the scripture. That's how you measure if that's Islam. So I'm just going to read right now one hadith here from Sahih Bukhari. I'm going to post it in the text. And this is Muhammad saying this, and everybody should see this with their own eyes. Allah just said, I've been sent with the shortest expression bearing the widest meaning, and I have been made victorious with terror. All right. So it wasn't with hugs, right? He wasn't victorious with hugs. And to respond, so that's the Christian who needs to know this. I mean, you shouldn't come to a conclusion in attacking someone who has much more knowledge if you haven't really investigated this question. And to respond to this lady here who really asked for evidence, you said that the Sahaba, we shouldn't slander them and make up things that they did if we don't really have evidence for that. For those who have never seen it, don't blame the Sahaba for what Allah allowed. Here is evidence of them raping, allowing rape, and promoting rape. Let me see if I can have the evidence here in front of your face, and then I'm not gonna speak too long. You guys need reference, right? Let me see. Here is reference. Just give me 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna leave the mic. You need evidence? Here it is. Here. I'm gonna leave the mic now. All right. Or maybe I should read this. It's permissible to have intercourse with a female captive after it's been established that she's not pregnant.
Stop.
And if she has a husband...
Can you stop? If you're sharing it on your screen, we are unable to see it.
Oh, no, I sent the link.
Oh, you've sent the link.
Should I repeat it? Yeah, I don't know how to share a screen, so I've never done that before. So let me share the link. Maybe should I do it here within our chat, or should I do it in the chat where everybody can see this?
Within our chat. So if you could share within our
chat.
Yeah.
So maybe you can share this, because I've never, I've just figured out what Hangout is. So
all right, so you kind of...
So evidence is very important to me.
Let's see if I can do something with it.
Sahabas never acted it out. Muhammad never acted it out. Well, let's find out.
And you have to realize we live in the 21st century when we can curse anyone we want. And the Sunnis are so hypocritical, they condemn the Shias for cursing the Sahaba when one of their Sahaba, Muawiyah, cursed Ali, yet they still accept him. Again, the double standards and hypocrisy.
All right, so it's right here in Sahih Muslim. So yeah, if you read it out, I've got it shared.
I read it. So it's me presenting the information. Okay, so I'll read it right now. So you said that they never acted it out. So it's permissible to have intercourse with a female captives. Well, we're not talking about other Muslims. It's infidel, dirty infidels. Female captive, after it's been established she's not pregnant. Here comes the part. And if she has a husband, well, you killed her whole family. You killed her husband. You killed her uncle, her son. Why do you think that she actually want to have anything to do with you? Let's read this one. If she has a husband, then her marriage is annulled when she's captured. I'll leave the mic.
You want me to react to that?
Yes, please.
I don't consider that as rape, actually.
She has a husband, right?
I don't consider that as rape, actually. In that time, there was a lot of wars going on, and being captivated during times of war, they're part of their booty, basically. And in that time, that's how the captives were treated. That's not rape in my eyes. That's just part of the war. They don't, in that hadith, I cannot read or understand it in a way that you want to understand. Go around the streets and rape random women. That's part of the war. And not only you want to say that Muslims started that thing, but Muslims didn't start that thing. Like Vikings, other Western nations went plunging towns and cities and raped their women and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what you're trying to establish here.
Titans, should I respond or should I leave the mic to someone else?
Okay, let me try this one. Can I do this one?
I didn't say that Muslims started rape. I said that they are allowed to do it.
I know. Don't worry about the straw man for now. What would be your reactions, if and when we find out, you see our good British soldiers, you know what they've been doing in the war in Iraq? They've actually been, having unwanted sexual intercourse with women, that they've just killed their husbands and so forth. What would you call that, by any chance? What would you call that? Why? You guys need to stop ringing my phone like that. And I can't even stop it. God damn. Can you not hear that?
This is for the female that spoke before. Maybe you want to respond to this question, or else I can speak. I want to leave the mic for you.
Go ahead, Sia. So I want to know.
The Americans that invade Iraq.
British soldiers. I want them to do British soldiers right now. Or American soldiers. I don't know which country.
Yeah, that's rape because they invaded their country. Muslims didn't invade, what you call it? Muslims didn't invade the Qurayshi countries. They invaded the Muslims. They fought the Muslims.
Huh? Say again. Repeat that once more to say it again. So Muslims fought Muslims, you're saying?
I'm saying the unbelievers in the time of the Prophet fought with Prophet Muhammad and his army. So I don't consider that hadith to say, oh, they invaded their country and raped their women and plundering their towns. That's different. Like the American army invaded Iraq and raped their women, killing off their husbands and drew them out of their houses. That's a huge difference. You cannot make that comparison at all.
Yeah, but what about the Arab conquest?
Yes, exactly.
Which spread from obviously Saudi Arabia all the way up to Spain, up to Egypt. That's basically unlawfully entering someone else's land, which would then make this hadith valid.
Let me go over to liberal guy.
Thank you. Yeah. So what we're talking about right now is principles. You have a woman, let's say that they were guilty. We're taking some disgusting group. Let's say, I don't know what country you guys disagree with or a group, You kill their husbands, husband is alive. Father, you kill them, you kill uncle, you kill their sons. Do you think that this woman actually wants to have sex with this man and marry them, let's say, within a year or a week or 3 days, like Muhammad did with Safiya?
Can I
and
give
your response was that, obviously, the criteria is you got to invade them. First of all, that's not true. But let's say it's actually true. I'm just going to play out your example. Didn't Muhammad say that you should invite India? For those who have never seen the criteria, the hadith, I can show it. Didn't Muhammad say you should invade Egypt? Syria is actually, Muta is actually the city. Syria, India, Egypt, Iraq, Constantinople, which is Turkey today, Istanbul, Didn't Muhammad himself say that you would do that? To be more accurate, Muhammad died 632. 636, which is 4 years later, Damascus was invaded. 638, Jerusalem was invaded. 642, Egypt was invaded. 647, I mean, this is within 10 years. 647, Libya was invaded. 711, India and Spain was invaded. Checkmate.
It all started because of the Christian Crusades, so I'm not
Christian
sure what you're trying
Crusades
to
Crusade
say.
came 400 years later. Maybe Muhammad was right. Half brain, you know.
What do you mean half brain? What do you mean?
Do you want reference?
Don't make ad hominem insults, right?
Right,
that
right.
was a ruling here.
I apologize. I
But
apologize.
because I'm a Muslim, you tend to just go on and insult me, and this ad hominem insults are allowed in this panel.
No. I respect you as my sister. I was referring to what Muhammad said.
I'm not your sister.
All right, as my sister. So that's my view. So no,
you make ad hominem insults, and that's
Can I
not allowed on
apologize?
this panel.
Real
Can I-
quickly.
Can I apologize?
Real quickly. Yeah, liberal guy, I'm gonna have to pull you up. Yeah, apologies on my behalf here for actually stealing my son's yogurt and actually eating it. My apologies. So I wasn't capturing what was going on.
All right. So
yeah, liberal guy.
my apology was, I see you as my sister, even though that you do not respect it. That's my view of you, so I will love you like my sister. I was referring to Sahih Bukhari, volume 348, 826, saying this. The Prophet said, isn't the witness of a woman equal to half a man? And the woman said, yes. And he said, this is because of the efficiency of a woman's mind. So I don't agree with Muhammad. This was what I was referring to. So maybe I should make that super clear. So I apologize if I offended you in any way.
Can I give an extra example, right? After Khalid bin Walid killed Malik ibn Nuwayra, he married his widow merely 24 hours after he just killed her husband. And so he slept with her 24 hours. In Medina, Umar was so scandalized that he demanded from Abu Bakr the immediate dismissal of Khalid. He said that Khalid had to be put on trial for the twin crimes of murder and adultery. According to Islamic law, Khalid had to be stoned to death. But Abu Bakr defended Khalid and said that he had simply made a quote-unquote an error of judgment. So Abu Bakr and Khalid, the two Sahabas which you Salafis revere, murdered and raped people. And then you say, does ISIS have anything to do with Salafism? Of course it does, because you follow these people, and these are the people that inspired the ideology that is propagating ISIS forward. So how can you say in God's green earth that there is absolutely zero connection?
Hey yo, you man's hear me? You see that hadith you mentioned earlier, yeah? About the female captives. Where does it say that you're allowed to rape them? Because what about they want it?
Do you want reference, or what do you would want?
I'm saying, what about those ladies? They want to be with those Muslim men.
you kill the whole family, and then the woman has a husband, he's alive?
Yeah.
Should I read it one more time?
Read it one more time, go.
It is permissible to have intercourse with a female captive after it's been established that she's not pregnant. And if she has a husband, then her marriage is annulled when she's captured. So Americans, or let's say British, go into Iraq illegally, let's say that, kill a whole village, and they have the women, and they have a couple of men, and she's like, I'm married, but he's like, we capture you, now we're gonna have sexy time. That's exactly what happened with Muhammad and Safiya. Do you want to respond?
Now, where does it say that they didn't want it, though, innit? That's what I'm saying. Because I've got other hadiths that say that the person was punished by stoning when they did that. I could bring that up if you want.
I'm not really sure if I understand. Maybe you can just clarify. You said that, so you invade a city, or let's say it's war, right? You kill the men, and some men are left with their women, and then you take the women separate, and you separate them from them, and says basically your marriage is annulled, and then you have sex with them and marry them.
Now, this is how war works, isn't it? If I go into another city,
an
army goes to another city, they're gonna beat some people up. That's how war works.
Sure.
So after they invade, the women, they're gonna be taken.
Yeah.
Right. This is how war works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then, if those women want to be with those Muslims, or they want to be with the invading army or American army, whatever, that's their choice, isn't it? So What's your problem?
Yeah, but it's kind of like after being through such trauma of seeing
Yeah.
your whole family killed and your loved ones, you're suddenly then going to go and sleep with the man that's responsible for it.
Maybe, you know, that nothing's written down there to go against that.
Yeah, that's just mad.
Yeah. Reality is barbaric. The question is, do you agree with it? That is the question. Islam did
Do
not,
I agree
did not
with
start
the
with
woman want to
this.
be with another man? Do I agree with the woman want to be with the invading army? That's her choice. If she wants to be with the invading army, if the invading army is the Americans or the British, that's her choice.
Let's say that she don't want that. What is her options?
If she don't want it, then that's that's rape, innit? That's clear cut. That she don't want it, that's rape. But where does it say that she didn't want it?
Do you know about Safiya? Have you heard her name before? I don't want to assume.
Yeah, I heard her name. Yeah.
Okay, she's a Jewish army woman, and she was the leader of. She was the wife of the leader Hinana, which was murdered by Muhammad. Let's say it was a war, and he burned her. He put fire in his chest and burned him. You know, and he killed basically everybody in that, all men. And Safiya was not taken by Muhammad; she was taken by Diyaya, something like that. Have you heard about this? And then Muhammad was like, "Oof, this one is nice. She's beautiful." You'll find this in Sahih Bukhari. And he's like, I want this woman.
Bring the hadith, man. Bring
the
hadith.
Yeah. Do you want it? Okay.
Yeah, bring it.
So do we have Kalam? I don't know how to share this one. This one is a killer. Tommy Robinson speak about it quite often, and imams won't even believe him unless he showed this.
Yeah, just send the sunnah.com link if you got a
sunnah.com. Yes. Okay, so this one is a killer. I actually have it prepared here. How did Muhammad get his wives? Here it is. And
the way you're saying it is that Safiya radiallahu anh didn't want to be with the Prophet sallallahu. If that's the case, show me anything where that indicates that she didn't want to be with the Prophet sallallahu. All right, and then we could take it further from there. But from what we understand, she never complained. If a woman's not complaining,
okay, I'll tell you a story before you know.
Yo, that's a woman's nature to complain. And you telling me Safiya radiallahu anh didn't complain? It doesn't make sense, then, innit? Come on, blood.
She was a spoil of war, right? And the way that he got her was that one of his commanders or one of his soldiers actually chose her, and he was like, "I want her. She's so beautiful." And I'll just share this with our brother here, and he can show me on the screen just to make sure that I'm not making stuff up. And he was like, "I want this woman," and the way that he got her is he paid for her by giving. Here is in chat. By buying her for 7 slaves, right? So I think it's very powerful to see this.
No, that's the thing. I'm trying to look at from the woman's perspective. You trying to just focus on the men's perspective. You know, it is a man's world, of course.
I'm going to talk from Islamic perspective.
No, let's go for the both perspective. Innit? Let's look at both sides. The 3 sides to every story in it. Her side, his side, and the truth. So when you look at from the woman's perspective, you telling me that she never complained once. She lived with the Prophet and she never complained once. Then what's the problem?
All right. So I want people to make their own opinion. Kalam, can you put up the hadith? I guess send it to you. It's Bukhari hadith. And I'm going to tell what Muhammad's companion said. I'm just going to make the story short. Basically, the wedding night, which was 3 days later, Muhammad's army did not trust Safiya because Muhammad basically killed her whole family. Do you have it up, Kalam? Seeing is believing. All right, can you zoom in a little bit so people can actually see this? All right, so let me see if I can read this. Muhammad, so I'm just going to read the relevant part. So it's going to be from here. Muhammad and his army, I'm going to read from there. Allah's messenger vanquished their forces. That's war, right? And their warriors were killed, and children and women were taken as captive. And Safiya, here she is, was taken by Diya al-Kalbi, and later she belonged to Allah's messenger, basically, and he married her, and her manuation, basically, her mahr was her manuation. Mahr, for those who don't know, it's wedding gift. So now we know he killed her family, and the wedding night. I'm sorry, Kalam, if I'm taking too long time to present this. It's very important. I want you to know what Muhammad's companion said, and then I'm going to leave the mic. So let me make sure that I present this to you from Islamic sources. And I can either present Tabari or I can present the biography. Which one should I do? Or should I choose myself? I can tell you what happened. Basically, Muhammad's companions did not trust her. They were standing all night long on their wedding night outside their tent, and they were guarding him. And then in the morning when they saw him, in their wedding night, basically. They were like, why, he was like, why do you stand outside my house? And they were like, you killed her family, her uncle, her brother, and then you married her. We did not trust her. Isn't that rape? Kalam, do you want to address this?
1 minute. So if they were suspicious of a woman, and you telling me because of that, that must mean it's rape. Tell me, where did Sophia complain in it? That's what I want to see. That whole life she lived with Prophet Muhammad, was there any complaint? She was a queen. She's a mother of the believers. She was elevated.
You're right.
You telling me
You're
she
right.
complained?
Okay, yeah. This thing won't work on Muslim. So Kalam, please, if you have anything from me, this is the last thing.
Honestly.
It will be Ibn Kathir, the Sirah, page 288. I think every Muslim should see this. Ibn Kathir, Muslim believe that, right?
I was here for like, I wanted, honestly, I didn't want to, I almost want to talk
60 seconds, and then you won't hear from me more
right.
if you don't believe me,
I just want to talk to medicine man earlier on, but I'll come back to that later on.
Okay, please, Kalam, open the link that I sent you, page 288. You open it, that will end this conversation. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm taking too long time. Please, Kalam, this is the last thing I'm going to ask you for, and then I'm going to give time for the rest of people to speak.
Yeah, I'll jump in
page
after.
288, last point. Ibn Kathir, the Sirah, meaning biography, for those who don't know. You find 288. Let's read it together. Muhammad killed her whole family, and now he take the woman Safiya, and he's the perfect role model. And you say ISIS are not Muslim. I believe you. Let's just figure out if he's actually if it's Muslim or not. All right. Can you find the text saying when he married Safiya Khaybar? Can you find anything on that? Or maybe you can highlight. I was afraid of you for this woman. She's a woman whose father, husband, and people you killed. All right, he highlighted for us. I was afraid. Yes, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to read the last part. I'm going to start from I was afraid for you for this woman. All right. So what we have right now is Muhammad's companion not trusting this woman that Muhammad married. And the reason they will say is basically we stand outside her tent saying basically, we have a sword in our hand. We don't trust you with this woman because you killed her whole family. So let me read this. It might be, boring, but just give me 20 seconds and then I'm finished. All right. So while the Prophet was lying with Safiya, Abu Ayyub stayed, so that's a person, Abu Ayyub, that's companion of Prophet Muhammad, stayed the night at his door. And when he saw the Prophet in the morning, he said, God is greatest, Allah Akbar, basically. And he had a sword with him. And he said to the Prophet, O Messenger of Allah, this young woman had just been married, and you killed her father, her brother, her husband. So I did not trust her to harm you. And the Prophet said, laughed and said, good, I'm finished. Do you want to respond to this?
No need to respond, but I would just say that from what I've seen is Safiya never complained, and what I've seen is Safiya was actually saying she showed love to the Prophet. So they had love between the two. And that's where it comes down to. But I just want to get back to medicine man. 1 hour ago, you was talking about that God has to come in flesh for you to know God. I just want to know, has anybody met God in flesh? Have you met God in flesh? Has anybody here met God in flesh? Do you need to meet God in flesh to know God? Where are you coming out with this for, man? Come on, blood.
Oh wow. Okay.
Are you just
First
gonna
and foremost,
derail the
let me
topic
ask.
like that?
Let me answer the question, brother. Brother said the medicine man, so I got to deal with this. First and foremost, I don't believe, God coming down in the flesh. I haven't seen this there. You're right. I don't know. I don't know of a God or someone claimed to be God coming down in the flesh. All I was saying is, looking at from a different point of view, from different religious perspectives, I said it would make sense to me that, a supreme deity like God, the creator of everything, looking at both religions, it would make sense to me that he would come down, in the flesh, where it's in the Christianity where, God comes down in human flesh, to communicate and interact with human beings so that human beings can understand him. Because, human beings, we live in creation. We know things within our creation. That's how we understand and connect with things. So I said that makes a bit more sense for God to come into the creation so that the human beings can understand him. But for a deity to be outside time and space, outside of creation, not even in the universe, just altogether outside that, and also parts of him is uncomprehendable. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to understand how you would connect and understand that entity. How would you connect with that entity? So connecting with someone that's in your creation, yeah, or connecting with someone that's outside time and space. Hence why I said, who do you connect with more? Would you connect with more your mother, yeah, or a fish that's down in the deep blue sea?
Mother, innit?
All right then. And your mother is obviously someone that's within your creation. You know, you have that bond. So who do you connect with more? Your mother or God, who is outside time and space, who is not in your creation?
Allah.
Okay, cool.
If there was no Allah, there would be no mother. But what I'm saying is,
Cool.
people believe in God. Most human beings, even this guy, liberal guy, me and him disagree on religion, but we both believe in God because we don't need to see God in flesh to believe in God. But we got that connection in it. So I'm just
I'm
saying,
not
God
saying
doesn't-
the believing is fine. Believing is fine, but I'm saying when you're dealing with connection, like, you know, I clearly gave you the example of a fish, obviously that's in the water, and your mother. You clearly said your mother, and the fish is within your creation, but obviously it's just in a different part of the creation. But God, who's outside time and space, who's not in your creation, who is someone that you can't comprehend, which basically means you can't understand, yeah, or grasp it. That's what it means by not being able to comprehend certain things of him. You're saying that you have a better connection with that entity than your own mother that gave birth to you.
I get your point. Yeah, I know my mother, like physically. I speak verbally. I speak to her. She's there better than I know God because.
So, yeah, that's my point. That's my main point. So if you can understand and connect with your mother who is in creation, yeah, how are you now going to understand a deity, yeah, who's outside time and space, yeah, and also your human limited mind cannot comprehend this deity because you're limited, because you're in a limited space. Everything is limited. You're finite. How are you now going to connect with this deity that's outside, that's eternal, that your mind cannot comprehend?
You know what's wrong, Gabs? I came in with a preposition that I was thinking that you believe that God's in the flesh.
Okay. No.
That's
Yeah,
why I was trying.
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool, bro. That's
Can
cool.
I respond to
That's
Gabs? Can I respond to Gabs?
Who's that?
Joe. So basically,
Yeah.
Gabs, so you put this dichotomy. Are you saying that the Muslim version is where you can totally not understand God, makes God very distant, whereas the Christian conception, i.e., that God becomes in flesh, i.e., into the creation, allows you to understand God better, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, I think what it is just you've kind of got a mistaken conception of the Muslim view because Muslims don't really they when they mean that God is transcendent of time and space. The reason why they say this is the theologians have stipulated that if God was in time and space, he himself would have to be contingent. Contingent being like his godhood would cease because if the contingent by definition is not God, and God being a part of the contingency would render him ungodly, if you get what I mean. But anyhow, I'd like to point you towards some notions in the Islamic corpus and how they get to know God. So, firstly, they get to know God by the creation. So, everything we see around us is a manifestation of God's attributes, a manifestation of His divine will, of His divine power, and whatnot. And one of the reasons is, do you know how you have the Quran? The Quran, Muslims will say, is the book of God. Now, in Arabic, the world itself is also called the Book of God. Also, it's called Kitabullah al-Maftuh, the manifest open Book of God. Muslims will understand God by nature as well, and they would also understand God by using reason and rational. They will also have a concept called kashf in Islam, kashf, which would literally mean an unveiling or disclosure, where Muslims actually experience God day to day life, and where God reveals Himself in like a metaphysical heart type sense, if you get what I mean. So yeah.
I hear what you're saying, brother. Some good things you was mentioning there. I want to ask you a question. Allah's attributes. Um, Allah's attributes are those His essence?
Well, the theologians would say no, they're not part of His essence, but they're not His essence, and nor they're separate from Him.
Okay, so then this is why I would say the attributes is not connecting with the essence, because the essence is who Allah is, right? At the essence, Allah's essence
Yeah.
is who He is. Yeah, that's His essence. So
Yeah,
now, if you're saying that the only way you can connect with Allah, which you just mentioned, is through His creation, and the creation allows you to connect to His attributes, that's not connecting to Allah's essence. That's only connecting to His attributes. So power, that's just power. That's not Allah's essence. That's just showing that He has some form of power. Like you have some sort of power. If I showed you how strong I am, does that make you understand my essence of who I am? No. You still have to connect to me. You have to sit down, reason with me, talk to me, understand my mindset, come with me, live with me for a while for you to be able to get a sort of connection. Do you see what I'm saying? By me just showing you power, you're not going to understand who I am. So what I'm trying to say is this connection to knowing who your creator and your deity is, the essence, you just clearly showed me that it's the attributes that you're learning from this creation. You're not learning his essence. So that's why I said it makes more sense for me if God is going to come down in a human form, walk amongst us, talk with us, sit down, talk to us. The same thing that I do, he's doing because he's a human being. I said that makes a bit more sense to me. Do you know what I mean? If a God's going to show you his essence and his way by coming down in something that you can understand. If he comes down, if I can't understand his essence, then I'm not getting no connection to him. Do you see my point? If he's just showing me power, I'm not understanding, his essence. do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're
So
saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but what I also like to add is obviously the attributes are many, like not even 99. 90, the only reason why people say 99 names is because these are only what are mentioned in the Quran, whereas people have stipulated, the mystics have said there are over thousands and thousands, and they've written whole books on that subject. But anyhow, regarding your point, yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from, that you're not actually gaining the true quiddity or quintessence of God, i.e. his essence. You're only getting the attributes. But then I was thinking that how, for me to know Gabs, for example, I can only know you via attributes at the same time. I can't know you without the attributes. Like I know
now,
Gabs is cheerful, he's joyful, whatnot. These are your attributes, right? It's not your essence. But the only ways I
okay.
can come to know your essence is via the attributes. This is what I'm kind of speculating.
But this is the thing is when you're saying but when you're saying I could be cheerful, that could just be one side that you're seeing. Because you could see me and I could to your perception, I can seem cheerful, but deep down I could be a vile person. You see these things out in the news where people say, "Oh, I can't believe that so and so did this. He seemed so cheerful and like a happy person, but deep down he had this essence, this evil, this." Do you know what I mean? And people are amazed, and they say, "Well, did people even get time to know you?" And they have that saying, "Well, you didn't take that time to get to know a person. Once you get to know a person, their true their true essence." So being cheerful and having these attributes, like I said, those are just attributes, and attributes can you can gain attributes and you can lose attributes. I can lose being cheerful, but the essence is what I am. So I think it's more important to know the person, the essence, because attributes can change. Do
But
you see what
however,
I'm saying?
I
So
see what you're saying, and I've got certain points. So you just mentioned that a person can cease being cheerful and he can become nasty and whatnot. But when it applies to God, obviously, the Muslim theological conceptualization is that attributes are also eternal and unchanging, so they wouldn't cease to be. And also, there's kind of like a balance, so to speak, when it comes to the attributes of Allah. So, for example, they divided the attributes of God into the attributes of, should I say, august attributes and the attributes of subtlety and beauty. So you have Allah being powerful and whatnot, but at the same time you have Allah being subtle, being merciful, being caring, whatnot. So you have this kind of balance. But I would like to mention, though, how do I get to know the essence of God without experiencing what you give off, so to speak? I can't truly get to know the actual what God is without um I don't know why my experience. I have to experience you to get what I mean. And sometimes I think the notion of instinct comes into this as well. And sometimes
Yeah,
you know something via your instinct. You don't need X, Y, Z factors. If
yeah.
you get what I
But look,
mean.
sorry to cut you. You just said a valuable point. You just said you need to experience me, yeah? So then I would say the same thing with God, because, for you to connect with this being, you have to experience God. You're going to have to experience him. But, going by what you're saying, you're not experiencing per se God because he's outside time and space. You're experiencing the creation. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Okay. Yeah. Let me butt in now. So
Go on.
basically, so do you agree that experience is a good factor to understand something? Actually, for example, when I put my hand in a fire, I know it's hot, and
Yeah.
nothing's gonna change my
You experience
perspective
it.
on
Yeah.
it. Cool.
Yeah.
So now, regarding you mentioned now, this wouldn't work in the Islamic paradigm because Islam says that God is outside of His creation.
Yeah.
Now, what I'd like to correct you is even the term outside and inside is very, should I say, slippery because outside and inside also denote space.
Okay. Now, see, sorry to cut you, brother. I'm agreeing with you at this point because I can see where you're going. Because the reason why I'm agreeing with you on that point is because, like, yeah, the Muslims that I have come into contact with, this is the reason why I'm saying these terms like outside in time and space, and where, they're the ones that come and say, Allah is outside time and space. So hence why that's the only reason why, when I'm talking to you,
Yeah.
I'm saying things like outside time and space,
Yeah.
because yeah. So
Because
yeah,
like
carry on, brother.
for you to be outside of something, obviously you can conceptualize there has to be something inside something as well, and those
Yeah.
two are paradigms of space. So it doesn't make sense. So yeah, the Muslims, I think obviously they might not be paying attention to the words they've been using, but traditionally the actual Arabic term they use is munazzah, which doesn't mean outside or inside. It just means transcendent. Now,
Okay, so
let me
sorry to cut you,
look
bro.
at
Just,
let me carry on,
just
please.
no, just quickly. I just want
Okay,
to ask you a quick question before you
go
carry
on.
on. According to you, is Allah in the universe?
He's in and not in. It's like a paradox kind of thing.
So he's in and he's not in.
Yeah,
So he's everywhere.
everywhere by his essence. Let me delineate
God, God,
what I'm
come.
trying to say. So basically, as we've talked about experience before, right? And you were saying it's not incompatible. Now let me carry on now. So I'm trying to screen share something. I've never done this before, so I'm trying to see how that works. So can you see my screen? Wait, yeah, can you see my screen?
Um, yeah.
Okay, so basically here is Wikipedia, and this is a term known as tajalli, which just means manifestation or God manifesting himself. So over here, I'll read it for you if people can't see. It says tajalli is the appearance and disclosure of God in Islamic mysticism. Tajalli is a process by which God reveals himself in forms or in the creation in the universe. So for example, when Moses saw God, so this is one of the evidences they use when Moses saw God in the form of a burning bush and whatnot. This was God actually disclosing himself. So the concept of knowing God via the creation is also here, if you get what I mean. So that's actually experiencing God. And also, I have, yeah, that's what. So that there is experience there as well.
Okay. So I think I'm getting your train of thought, but I think what it is probably that I think the way you see things is probably a bit different to some of the other Muslims. I can see what you're saying. Yeah, but you know, it's just all I was just pointing out was, you know, the Muslims that I come into contact with, you know, they have this strong belief, and I will probably vouch for a couple other brothers or sisters that's been on the panel that's had discussion with other Muslim brothers and sisters. You know, they mention of God, Allah being outside in time and space and not being able to come into His creation. We've had loads of discussions on this on Times TV, like countless times. So that's the reason.
I'll give you a theological view as well. So we have this concept called takween, which means, do you know how God is the creator? Allah is the creator, according to Muslims. Now, the thing is, the question was posed that, does God, being omnipotent, did He just create and leave things be? So then theologians said, no, God creates at every single moment in time. So not even the concept of nanoseconds doesn't even apply, because that's within our limited intellect. But at every single thing we see around us is God creating constantly and constantly with His divine will. And the reason we see order in the universe is because this is known as you know how you have the sunnah, this tradition. This is God's habit, that we see, what we see around us is order. So for example, when I put paper in the fire, the paper burns. But that's only because God is allowing it to be burnt, for it to burn. But it could be that with His divine will, as He's creating and intervening within the creation, and every moment in time, He could cease that to be, and that's where the notion of quote unquote miracles come from. But
so
I'll give you one story as well. Yeah, one story which is famous in Muslim Islamic history is basically when Baghdad used to be a center of Islamic learning. There was a Muslim mystic called Mansur al-Hallaj. Now he was walking within the streets of Baghdad and he started to say, I am God, out loud. He was in a state of ecstasy and a state of just full experiencing God, quote unquote. And he said, I am God. Now the people were shocked, all the Muslims, all the clerics and the scholars and whatnot, saying, well, this is committing blasphemy. Now what they did was they executed him. Now, but before the execution happened, obviously they had to sign a fatwa, quote, saying that yes, this guy has committed blasphemy, whatnot. So then the people started to ask some of the other mystics, saying, "Oh, why did you sign the paper to execute your friend?" And they said he let this secret out to the people. So they didn't say he was wrong. They said he let his secret out to the people. That And obviously, we have hadith as well saying, he who knows himself knows his Lord. So that's another way of actually understanding Allah.
So can I ask you this question? And so is Allah in time?
He acts within time, yes, but the theologians said no, he wouldn't. His essence is not in time.
So he acts.
Gabs, I don't want to interrupt. I just want to say that whenever you're ready, I'm ready to speak. I have a question to a person.
Okay.
So speak till you're finished.
Okay, go on, bro. Now I was gonna say, so he acts in time, but his essence is not in time.
I think, yeah.
Okay. So he acts in time, but his essence is not in time.
He's constantly acting. He's constantly acting. Obviously, because if he's omnipotent, he has to be acting like all the time.
So is his essence and actions not connected?
They are. Well,
so that means his essence. So then his essence would be in time.
They actually differentiate between the attributes of his self and attributes of action. So no.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna give the mic to who's the brother?
Yeah, it's Mr. Love. Quickly, if you don't mind me saying, thank you first for having me on. Also, I also believe in Allah, right? I also believe in Him, but I don't know too much about my religion, right? But even though I know the little that I know, that's what I'll be talking about. And if I don't know it, then I'll say I don't know, right? That's my opinion. But anyway, what I'm saying is that we believe that of course, science has now established that a particle can be at two places at one time. It's called quantum science, right? I'm saying that having said that, then why can't the creator be in two places at one time? Do you see what I'm saying? I believe that, and it's written as well, like those people who are humble and who have it predestined for them as well.
they and who know the essence of themselves, who have the essence grasped the essence of meditation. Those who are with the true congregation, and they grasp the essence of God, and they live according to that.
So basically, I see Saracen in the chat, and I think Saracen knows who Hamza Yusuf is. Hamza Yusuf is a famous scholar, probably the most well-known scholar in the Western world. Now, I was listening to a clip of his yesterday, literally denoting on this notion. Now, in basic Islamic texts, yeah, they used to come in the form of poetry, to memorize. So, doing how we have nursery rhymes, likewise, you have nursery rhymes in the Muslim world as well. And there's a famous theological poem which literally talked about where Allah is. Now, I'm going to just recite in Arabic, and he says, هو متصل لخلقه وغير منفصل عنه. So which means he's connected to his creation and not disconnected from his creation. This is a poem known as Jawhar Tawheed, the pearls of Tawheed, the pearls of monotheism, by Imam Laqani. And this is what Hamza Yusuf said. Now, Hamza Yusuf said that in quantum physics, how a particle can be both acting as a particle and a wave at the same time. Like, it's called a law of included middle in logic, just as you have law of excluded middle. Now, so yeah, basically like that. So regarding Gabs, I want you to respond to my objection, okay? Now, this is not my personal objection because I kind of study Islam. Now, this is what theologians like Fakhruddin Razi said regarding God being in his creation by his essence. So they said the creation is contingent, the world, the cosmos is contingent. Do you agree? Gabs, you there?
Oh, is that to me? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically,
sorry. Say again, bro.
What I'm trying to ask you
Of
is this.
course, it has to be.
Wait. I'm talking to Gabs, yeah. So what I'm trying to ask you is this. I'm giving you an objection theologians such as Razi would have against you. So basically, this world is contingent. I.e., this world is incidental. I.e., stuff moves, things change. It's made up of bodies, etc. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, things move. Yeah.
Yeah. So if God, by His essence, was in this cosmos, then He Himself would have to be contingent.
As in, can move and stuff and change.
Contingent is basically the opposite of being eternal.
If you don't know, having to depend on something else.
Okay.
Yeah. Contingent can mean depending on something else, but the contingent can literally means opposite of being eternal. So basically, I'm just trying to give you the argument here. So he said, this world is contingent. If God is part of this world, then He Himself would have to be contingent, i.e., not eternal, and therefore not God.
Okay.
So how would you respond to that?
I would respond. Well, me personally, I'll respond to that by saying, you said obviously, God, Allah, is an eternal deity, and you said that He is eternally creating at every single moment in time. Yeah. Every single moment in time. Yeah. You said He is creating.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. You said He's creating every single moment in time. He is creating. Yeah. So this eternal being who's creating at every single moment, to me, that's showing a being who is obviously changing, yeah, creating, doing things, changing, moving things, yeah. Things are changing, like you said, changing and moving, because all creations are not all the same. We have different planets, we have different stars, different solar systems, different things that are floating around and buzzing around. So if He's doing that eternally, then I think that would be it. He's it. If He's in that, if he's a part of that, because we know that He's obviously physically interacting with creation, hence why, the molding of Adam and the creating, and, him having hands and feet and all this stuff. So yeah, he's part of all of that.
Okay, so I've got 2-3 things to say. So if you're saying He's part of His creation, which is contingent, that would make Him contingent also, i.e., being not God and not pre-eternal. There's a contradiction there if you see where I'm coming from. So this is what the theologians stipulated, whereas the mystics who are more into it, obviously the theologians rely on their intellect, their akal more, or they're into philosophy and metaphysics. So this is what they came up with, whereas the mystics who are on the opposite spectrum of Islam. They're more into actual experience and experiencing God. So they came up with the notions of Wahdatul Wujud, a pantheistic notion. And I've got two second point as well.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
go.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk, Joe. I just want to ask the brother a quick question.
Please.
I want to ask. Can I ask the brother quickly? Yeah. Could you imagine things never moving? So no movement, like ever, just no movement.
No, if I was to imagine that, I just imagine an empty void or some black. Just pure
Okay. Okay. So you couldn't imagine that. So then now, if you can't imagine no movement, that's basically showing that movement. Yeah. Obviously for you, that means movement. To me personally, I think movement change. Would it be fair to say that this could be an eternal thing? That there's always movement, there's always something moving and changing.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Well, let me just finish what I was just trying to say. 2 points.
go
I'm
on.
going to come back to this. Yeah. So you
Go on.
mentioned hands and feet and whatnot. This is not the traditional actually view. So this is the Hyde Park Muslim view, not the actual vast majority of even Shias, even the vast majority of Sunnis. Yeah. We don't believe this in literally. We believe it is metaphorical and whatnot. Interestingly, do you know the Hermetic principle of as above, so below?
Yeah.
As within, so without. So do you know the two hands of God that you mentioned, that God actually formed man with his two hands? One of the metaphorical or symbolic interpretations of this was one of these hands represents the macrocosm, and one of these other hands, obviously hands being in a quote unquote quotation mark because not real, represents the microcosm. So as within, so below type thing. So that I thought, just because that's like a Hermetic link as well, because obviously you follow the Hermetic philosophy.
I just want to quickly get back because I want Joe wants to. I think the other brother wants to come in. I just want to ask you. So going back to this whole movement. So you said you can't comprehend, no movement. Yeah, just ever.
No.
Just
If you ask me what was the pre-eternal state, like what has been the only thing I can imagine is just blackness, just a black void.
So no movement.
No, it's just still. It just is.
So if there was just still, you said at one point that Allah was eternally creating. That's movement. So
I don't see how creation entails movement, but
but remember, if something is being created, like you said, like our universe is being created, you said he's eternally created. He's eternally creating things.
Yeah, he's creating.
Regardless, if he's creating something, yeah, if something's being created, doesn't that not entitle movement?
Yeah, possibly.
Things is moving, because things is changing. Yeah,
I can see where you're going. I can see
something new. Yeah, exactly. So my point is this: if there's always movement and Allah is an eternal being, if there's always movement, eternal movement, and all things are doing is just changing and moving, nothing's being added, nothing's being taken away. Everything that's being created, or should I say changed, would all have to be part of the same thing. Do you understand my point?
Yeah, I see where you're going. I do.
Okay.
Yo,
so
Gabs,
that, go on.
Are we allowed to continue?
Are you saying that the universe has always been moving? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying the universe. I'm saying, if you can show me if you can prove or show me no movement or comprehend a time where just no movement, just still, just nothing's happening.
Yeah, Gabs.
But there has to be a still moment.
Do you notice how when you came and you dropped that and you dropped what you just did, it was like it all got silent. Everything around us got silent, and like before you spoke, I thought I could hear like.
I want to say something before I go.
Sia, I actually have a question for you, Sia. So don't go.
Actually, I have.
Hold on. You guys are cutting the. Hold on. You guys are cutting the brother.
Appreciate it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Go back to movement, bro.
Quiet. It all got quiet, but no. And what was important was listening, and we had to listen, and you kind of sacrificed yourself. You sacrificed yourself. We're here listening, because listening.
Dude, what are you talking about?
Listening, truth contentment.
Yo, Sing, man, you're not supposed to be smoking weed in Ramadan, bro. What's up with you, blood?
You see what I'm saying? Listen, and this is what I'm saying is from listening, that's why we got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And I'm saying,
All right,
this is
man.
it.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Peace, brother. Thanks for that, bro. Cool,
Gabs,
cool.
I want to ask Sia, and then I want to leave the word to
Yeah,
her.
that's
if she
fine.
wants to say
Go on,
something.
go on.
Is that fine? Okay. Sia, so you know,
You obtain honor. Honor is obtained.
Sia, so I apologize to
reciting,
you.
from reading or reciting.
Gabs, you
And
want
from
to
that you
control
grasp
this?
the essence of meditation.
Bro, Sing.
And
Sing.
and it
Sing.
comes down from reading and
Sing, can you hear me, bro?
and that sort of stuff. And that's
Yo, Sing, can you hear me, bro?
Anyways. Oh yeah. I have now just risen from my, temporary slumber. I've just risen from my Odin nap, my Odin sleep. So, family, yeah, I can't even do this much longer, family. I'm gonna allow like another 3 minutes, and then I'm shutting down the show because I need to sleep. And is that real? So, I don't know whoever's next. You gotta go next. And then I'm shutting down.
We trust you. You've been fair so far.
Sorry, say again.
Say again, bro.
Gabs.
For the largest empire in the world to an end.
No, what?
Okay, I just have 2 questions, but maybe I just have time for one because he said 3 minutes. First of all, Kalam, thank you for actually offering this opportunity. That's amazing that we are actually having people discussing this and having good manners. Okay, so if I only have one question, it will be this. Maybe Kalam, you can help me. I'll send you a link right now on page 146. This is important to me. You'll find Mishkat Hadith, if many Sunni accepts. Page 146. I really want people to see this. So far, I've been authentic, right? So I post a link in our chat, page 146. And I would want maybe a Muslim, a smart one that could maybe address this one. Kalam, if you can help me post a link.
I got you, my brother. I got you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Page 146. All right. So I will read it and maybe someone can address this. Can everybody see this? All right. So I'm just going to read right now. I just want to make sure that people can see it. Is it coming up on people's screen? This is Mishkat, volume, make sure I give you the right reference. Volume 1, page 146, correct? Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to read this one. So Sayyidun Abu Darda narrated that the Prophet said that Allah created Adam, and when he created him, he struck his right shoulder and he brought out his white offsprings, just means children. And they were ants. And again, he struck his left shoulder, brought out his black offsprings, meaning children. And they were like charcoal. And he said, to those on his right, meaning those white children, to paradise, and I don't care. And to those on his left children, speaking about those black children, he said, to hell, and I don't care. Do we have anybody who's willing to address this? Here we have authentic sources. And if you can just scroll down a little bit, you will see it's Ahmad and the exact source. A little bit down. If not, I'm mistaken. Will you see Ahmad? Yeah. Ahmad 2441. So it can go up again. And I will leave the mic. Thank you for letting me speak. And thank you for actually providing good service, man.
No problem.
Yo, can I answer that, blood?
Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, your Titans, you see Gabs and Joe were talking about God, liberal guy, and this guy was talking about the religion. Today's topics all over the place, but what I'm saying is that God is supposed to be a protector in it, and if God got put in a headlock, choke slammed, stone cold stunner, crippler crossface, put on a cross, crucified, how can I worship him when he could have protected himself, blood? You know what I mean? That I'm gonna go out anyway. Salute to all you Titans, man. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So does anybody want to answer this question that we've got up on the screen right now? Or address this? We'll go up on the screen right now.
It's a fake hadith. Can we move on? I want to say something real quick. There was
We're
somebody that said,
just going to say fake hadith. We're not going to, justify how it's fake hadith. We're just going to discard.
It's so funny. I
a
just want
lot
to
of
laugh.
lot of hadith in Ahmed isn't trustworthy. So
Okay. Okay. So I don't know wherever you don't want to go after that.
I'd say that just you can't see it if you haven't. That's not a justifiable explanation. If you're going to say it's fabricated or weak, then bring forth your evidence if you are truthful. You can't just say, "Oh, it's weak or fabricated," and throw it out the window.
if I can search it up, then I will prove that it's fake. But I wanted to say something, but go ahead. I'll wait till you guys finish.
Yeah, I mean, I apologized to you, Sia, earlier. I said that you were half as smart as men, and you got my apologies. But I also gave you reference of Muhammad saying that women have half of intelligence. Would you be a fan of Muhammad saying that? That would be interesting as well to know. Finished.
Hello?
If your point is is your point saying that black people are inferior in Islam, then if you see in Islam, black people have progressed and have the most respect. Go back in history and check the West African kingdoms or the Muslim kingdoms, respect. Mansa Musa, respect. Go even before Islam, Antara bin Shaddad, respect. So what's your point, bro? Where's that guy liberal gone?
Do you see the hadith?
See the hadith, but I'm looking at the reality, man. The reality is black Muslims have had more respect under Islam than they had under Christianity. In the Christianity, they were getting knocked out, bro. They were getting enslaved, put on slave ships. But in Islam, they had kingdoms, bro. Mansa Musa blood.
Reality is that Muslims ran the slave trade. Have you heard about this? About 100 million plus African slaves. Is this news to you?
Yo, assalamu alaikum, yeah. I see Kalam's about to fall asleep as well, blood. I'm out here.
Kalam, take over.
All right. So there was a very interesting. This is a very interesting hadith that's been brought up. It seems as though that no, Muslim is really ready to actually tackle this. So after this, I'm actually going to go to my bed. And should I even do this?
Do it, Kalam.
Let me jump on my Muslim side for a hot second. Should I do it? Go on, you might as well. All right, so let's assume that this hadith is actually Sahih. Yeah? Can we assume it's Sahih?
Sahih or Hassan?
I'm going to assume.
I thought you said you were going to jump on their side.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume this is actually Sahih right now. And let's see if we could do some mental gymnastics and actually dissect this particular hadith. All right. So, right. What's going on my phone? Hold on. Nope, tell a lie. I'm actually going to get my brother Raza to come on and actually deal with this hadith. Because he'll be much more better that way. Give me a hot second. I got my Shia brother coming. I agree. I don't even know if you lot can see my face lighting up right now, As soon as I hear Raza said he's coming on to do this. Oh, man. Jeez.
Is Raza Shia?
He says he can't
All right,
join.
so I have one of my best friends is Shia from Iran, and that's a woman, and she's very clear about the castrated African slaves that had few children in Iran, and they're few, but she's very clear on this one, and I hope this guy won't deviate from that. So I welcome him.
Bro, being Shia doesn't mean being Iranian.
Hold on, Kalam. Did Sia duck out because Shia was coming because Raza was coming on, bro?
I don't know right now. I don't know right now.
Yo.
Hold on, let's just get some order in. What we're doing right now is just gonna have Raza on the phone. We're not jumping to no castrations or anything like that. We're gonna get Raza to actually answer this particular hadith and dissect it. And before we start, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Brother just got up for suhoor to eat, bro. Fasting tomorrow. You lot doing some crazy show today. I see you lot on some crazy show, bro. You know what? I just saw the hadith. Wa alaikum salam. All the viewers, man. Cool. Nice to be here again. Kalam doing big show as usual. All right, cool. So you see that hadith, yeah? Kalam, briefly. Just on the screen. I want to read it out loud quickly so that I can know. And again, this is just my own, like, you know, I'm not sure what the scholars or what you call the muhaddithin have given the interpretation of it. I'm just going to give you it straight from what I can understand from it. So can someone just put it up on the screen so I can read it? Yeah, I can see it. Here you go. So Sayyidina Abu Ad-Darda narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah created Adam when he created. Then he struck his right shoulder and brought out his white offspring as though they were ants. Again, he struck his left shoulder and brought out his black offspring like charcoal. He said to those on his right side, to paradise I care not, and to those on his left shoulder, to hell I care not. All right, cool. So look, let's just assume it's authentic, and let's not get into, you know, the whole, you know, it's weak or fabricated. Let's just take the tradition as it is, yeah? You lot can hear me, right? Kalam, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Cool. So look, generally, the only interpretation that's considered a valid interpretation, if you're not going to go down the race angle, from an apparent angle, of course, someone's going to see that and say, look, black people are being discriminated, it's racist. The only interpretation I'm going to give that's going to give it a justifiable take on it, which is a potential, it's justifiable, is that, look, it's the concept of black and white. When someone says, you know, if someone says something's black, you don't always have to take it literally. Meaning, when we say, oh, we sold something on the black market, it's common expression that's used to denote something bad. Doesn't have to mean a physical black man. One thing in the text that I've noticed straight away, if I'm not mistaken, it says it will tap on the shoulder, he will struck his right shoulder and bring out his white offspring. So remember, in Islam, the right hand is considered the pure hand. The right hand is considered the pure hand. And it's considered in the Day of Judgment that you will be given your good deeds on your right hand. The left hand is considered the impure. And that's why even Muslims, you'll notice, eat with the right hand. Even, you know, but left hand is considered as the impure hand per se. I'm not going to go into technicalities if someone's left-handed, etc., etc. So the point is that if that hadith is true and it's taken as, yeah, the people that are going to be taken to heaven are the people of white faces, meaning nur. The concept of Islam of nur, light. Being light, it doesn't mean you're being light-skinned. It means like, it's saying, like, I'll give you an example. On the Day of Judgment, people that go to heaven, their faces will have nur on it. They will have white faces. Now, if someone's a black man or a brown man like myself, and my face lights up, it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm a white man. It just means my face has lit up. And in the same way, a white man on the Day of Judgment that is going hell, his face can be blackened. You know when you say, oh, you've blackened the faces of the believers today. You've blackened everyone's face today. It doesn't, it's not a racist slur. It's basically saying, look, you've degraded. So the valid interpretation, again, would be the white people. When it's saying white, it's talking about light, nur. It's not talking about Caucasian white people. And in the same way with black, it means about as a disgrace rather than people's color. So take it in that way rather than that way. And the hadith doesn't have that much of a problematic view to it, especially in consideration when it equates the white with the right hand and the black with the left hand. So that gives it a little bit of validity in terms of my interpretation. And that's what I would say around it.
That makes sense.
All right. Let's see if the liberal guy has any.
Yeah, I have a comment. I will destroy this in 2 seconds, you know, because I guess that, you know, he being a Shia, maybe this will give him a way out, you know. It says very clearly in Ibn Kathir, which I guess Shia don't accept. It says the same thing in the
No, it's fine, yeah.
So I'll just read this. Should I read it?
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
So speaking about the beast, maybe it's Dajjal. I don't know. Maybe this, you know, you can explain how.
Okay.
Should I actually post this?
Yeah, go on, why not?
Okay, speaking about the believers will be bright and disbelievers will be black, and you will notice them while you eat on a table. Who's a believer and who's a disbeliever based on color? Should I post it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, post it.
Okay, I'll post it for Kalam in the chat, and maybe you can just make sure that, you know, I'm not talking shit, guys. You haven't really met me, you know, until you met me. Yeah, I'm new. I just found out about this channel. You know? There it is. You just search for what I just gave you, take the screenshot, and sorry, Kamal, maybe I open up a topic, then we should do more when we have more time, you know. When you sit with your family members, you will know who's a believer and who's not a believer based on what color they have.
So why can that hadith not be taken in the same way in terms of interpretation I've just given? Why cannot be taken as, you know, you'll be able to see it on their face? Like, you know, if you're talking about the same beast of the earth where, you know, they will say believer on their forehead, or, you know, it will say unbeliever on their forehead. Of course, you know, I would hope that a lot of Muslims don't take that literally. It's just considered metaphoric, right? If you take it like that.
Yeah. So I would add history as well. You know, I mean,
Yeah, of course.
Muslims using drugs is not because of Islam, right? They acting on their own desires, right? You have to match their behavior with the Prophet or the Scripture. Unless it's their own desires. What about if you actually have the Islamic slave trade or Arab slave trade, whatever you want? That's by running the slave trade in Africa, basically. And it's not just Africa; it's also in India, other places. Based on things like this, so you have to match it with history as well. How did he thought?
So
how do you think?
you know, the only thing I would say to that is that you're conflating the issue of those texts with the slave trades that happened after the Prophet by the Islamic empires. The Islamic empires were not religious people. The Islamic empires, let me just make this clear. The Islamic empires were not religious people, my brother. The Mughals, the Umayyads, the Abbasids, you think these people were religious?
What
You
about
think these
Prophet
people cared about
Muhammad?
Islam?
Did he buy Safi? I guess you don't trust this because you're Shia. So maybe
we'll go step by step, bro. We'll go step by step.
Yeah,
In terms of
did
slaves, in terms of
Muhammad buy Safiya for 6 slaves or 7 slaves?
So the Safiya story, if you're talking about obviously the whole.
I'm jumping topics. Stick to topics.
Yeah, I think like if we, I know you're touching a lot of topics here, but your analogy would have been fine if the people of the kingdoms after Islam was a betrayal of Islam. You made a good example about the drugs. The Umayyads, the Abbasids, the Turkish, whether it's anyone, these people are not representatives of Islam, because we already know that, look, the Mughals, as in, apart from the Muslim who chooses to bury his head in the sand, we know these people didn't care about Islam, bro. They cared about the riches, they cared about living a good life. They didn't care about Islam. So when you're saying they had slaves or they cared, it doesn't faze me. I'm sure they did, and I'm sure I know from the history that they done a lot of cruel things as well. They done good things, they done bad things as well. But the point is to use that and say, oh, the practice of the Muslims has been like this, so therefore we're going to use that text and link it. It's a bit of a disanalogy, because they done a lot of things that were against Islam. So why pick up on the slavery? They also went around killing people. No, and if you want to go now to the Prophet in terms of slaves, of course, in the Prophet's time, if you want to go down to the core, that they can't. No, we know that he never cancelled slavery, bro. We know he never cancelled slavery, bro. We don't deny that. You're going off topic, bro. The main topic is because you can, Gabs. 1 minute. I don't want you to come. I don't want to come on and you start going top, because I'm not going to obviously jump on your. I'm not going to jump on your wavelength. What I'm here to do is talk about that hadith and give you a different take on it. If you've made up your mind and you're saying no, it's racist, that's no problem. But I'm just giving you a different take and letting you know that, look, it can easily be interpreted in a different way. Do you get my point?
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Yeah.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. Go on, Gabs. Go.
All right. Now, I want to go I want to get back to that hadith. So correct me if I'm wrong. With the hadith, it was saying something about Allah striking his shoulder and the ants. Did it say their faces were black, or you said the ants? There was black ants and white ants.
Their faces. The children were white, and the other children were black.
Okay. Now, because
I know Gabs, you cut off hard there, Gabs. Go again.
Oh, sorry. No, I just wanted to know about the faces, the children. So you had some ants that were black, some ants that were white. And
no.
The point that you gave, the children.
Yeah, Kalam, can you open the link, please?
Yeah. Where's the link? Let me see that.
You don't want to misrepresent.
Yeah. All right. Well, let Gabs ask the question. I'll pop the link. But the children will be white, like ants. We white ants, and then the black ones will be like charcoal. Doesn't mention no ants for that one. But go on.
That one would be like charcoal. Okay, cool. Now the reason, obviously, the brother Raza was saying that he was using the analogy of like being blackmailed, and doesn't necessarily mean he's talking about a black person, but
ethnically, yeah,
ethnically, but it just means black as in some form of negativity.
Black deeds, you've got black deeds, negativity,
yeah. So the reason why that can still be, can be still seen as something racial, especially when you're dealing with children, because you got to think of the mindset of the person and why they're associating blackness with negativity. Do you see what I'm saying? And why is whiteness being shown as pure and light? Because because the moment you say, you were saying something like, someone's heart being blackened. But I'm now thinking, if I was to go back into, the time of Prophet Muhammad, would he be using these type of words like, their heart was blackened? That sounds like some some Shakespearean type poetry. That modern days when we start using these terms like blackmail and your heart was blackened. I'm trying to understand.
You
have to understand. You have to understand. No, you're right. You have to understand the wording according to. You have to understand the word, the hadith of the Prophet according to his time period. So I'll give you an example. It was very common, and I'm sure if I go through the books, it's very common to find someone saying, "You've blackened the faces. You've blackened the faces of the believers."
Yeah, that's right. No,
it was very common rhetoric at that moment in time to say something like that.
I know that, but what I'm trying to say is, what did they use? Why did they use the term blacken as negative? What were they using to show? Because, if you're going to say something like, the people blacken their faces and you're saying blacken, that means negative and white means the light. What are you using to show that the black is negative? What have they seen? Why is it that they,
when they say, I'll give you example. Yeah, and I know exactly what you're saying. Let me give you example. When today we're sitting, I know it's today's time, but I'm just going to give you example. Today's time when I say, Gabs, there is light at the end of this tunnel. I know by me, I say, look, I know it's dark, Gabs, right now, but there is light at the end of this tunnel. That doesn't mean that I'm basically subconsciously thinking, now I've got that mind frame from being, I have a racist bias in my head. It's just rhetoric where light is considered pure, light is considered, light, and then light goes to white, dark, then dark goes to black. So it's not considered generally about.
I get that.
Can I respond?
What I'm trying to say is the whole blackness connotation to do with negativity, because when you look up at space, that blackness that you see out there, do you see that as negative?
No, can I jump on? So
hold on. Can we have some order?
No, you're right.
Can we have some order?
Do you get my point? I'm trying to understand where did they get, who decided whether the white, because obviously in that hadith, the white is symbolized as pure and the black is seen as negative. So
I'm gonna give my last. Joe. I'm gonna let Joe on. Joe, is that Joe?
Raza, can you just chill? Hold on.
Who's that speaking to me?
It's liberal guy. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you speak after me. Let's just make sure that we're 2-3 people speaking about the same topic. So I read a story in BBC actually earlier today. It says that if you're black, you'll go to hell, and if you're white, you'll go to heaven. Would you accept that as racism or colorism? I just want to make sure that you hold BBC at the same standard as Muhammad. So you might
repeat that again once more. Sorry, repeat that again.
BBC said what Muhammad said. Black people, you'll go to hell. Well, if you're white, you'll go to heaven based on color. And you'll notice who's who by their faces while you eat with them in on the table, basically. That's my last comment.
So let me answer that. So if your analogy is to base religious text and rhetoric of the Prophet based and analyze and give an analogy based on BBC, that argument just won't stand, my brother. Because when you study religious texts, you don't compare it with 21st century BBC. You're studying religious texts. So understand religious texts, you have to go to the tafsirs and what the Prophet's rhetoric is. You don't refer it to 21st century BBC standards and say, oh, if the BBC said that, would you take it the same way? Of course I wouldn't take it the same way, because I'll be like, why is the BBC saying something like that? If the Prophet's saying it, it's completely different, bro. It's religious text. You can't interpret religious text according to 21st standards in BBC, bro. Do you get my point?
It says super clear. When you see them when you eat, I guess you don't accept Ibn Kathir, so it doesn't really matter.
No, it's not an issue like that. It's not an issue like that.
You will notice who's a believer, who's the disbeliever, based on looking at them in their face,
Bro, you're taking a very literal understanding right now, bro.
No, let's take it symbolically. Let's take it symbolically.
Cool.
Hold on. Let's not get into this fight.
Late, it's late.
Okay. So, all right, Kalam, thank you for offering this moment. Yeah,
way too long, G, and I'm tired.
I'm with you, Kalam.
So we can continue.
Raza, much respect, and Gabs, thank you as well. Good conversation.
Yeah, my brother, cool, man.
We can continue this off here. We're gonna go into this hadith. Let me just quickly get it. How much is this video on? This one here, right here. So you guys who's watching it right now, please go to Ibn Kathir. I'm actually going to copy it and post this. So the next time we speak, we can discuss this. It's right there. All right. Let me quickly go again. And there is also this link, and it's page 146. I'm going to post it inside here as well. All right. So these are the places where you can go. And it's very, very interesting conversation. There's so much more to actually cover on this topic, so much more to cover on this topic. And really, truly, we need to have some type of hermeneutic understanding the context of these texts to really appreciate what's actually going on. And sometimes we need to, take away our, 21st century lens,
100%,
certain things, and actually look at it from what was the context, what was the context in terms of the people at the time and how it was utilized. It's very interesting. I've studied this in depth as well. For some of you guys may know about this. There's certain punishments that was done that the Jews used to indulge in. Okay, instead of actually punishing adulterers, what did they used to do? Does anybody know? Instead of actually punishing adulterers like they used to, which was stoning them to death, what would they do? Does anybody know?
I think I do, Kalam.
Go ahead, real quick.
Shave the head, and expel them, stuff like that. No.
No, some kings such as Muntazim Billah would get a dark, 7 foot, if I remember correctly, melanated slave, and he would rape them in the marketplace in front of the people. This is what I read Ibn Kathir's Tarikh.
No, I wasn't going there, my G.
Okay.
Going to be punished by raping another individual. I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, one of the punishments, instead of actually, being stoned to death or whatever the case is, the punishment was to make them feel shame and embarrassment. And what they would do was, put tar on them or put something on them to darken them, and so forth, like to make them look ashamed. Nothing to do with the color itself in terms of like a black is a horrible color. Of course not. If you go and read certain books, you realize the Arabs actually praise the color black for various different reasons. For example, you even got the black stone there today, which is something that they praise and they look. Just to show the disgust to people, wants to pick up the dirt off the ground and dash it into somebody's face to show that you've been shamed or whatever the case is. So there's various different ways that you can use the term blacken or darken. There was literally the physical way of blackening.
Of course.
There was other ways. Is when somebody has marred your face by some means, either cutting off a part of your body. And that means now they used to say, now that you have darkened my face or blackened my face, not in the sense of the actual color black, but it's in the sense of
it's expression. It's an expression.
Yeah, brought gloom or disgust or shame onto me. Okay, not actually talking about the ethnicity of the black complexion. That's definitely not what was going on in that time period. Okay, I know we're using a 21st lens and we're seeing it as such, but that was never the case. The same thing he was talking about with the white and the noir and the light and so forth. That was an expression to say, somebody successful, that they've whitened.
Yeah.
Then now, it has different meanings to do with pureness, to do with cleanliness, to do with prosperity and success and so forth, and had nothing to do with the actual ethnicity of white. The Arabs never used to call people that we view today as white. They used to call them red or give them other different, they used to call them by various different names rather than that name. When you actually go into the histories, you see that, technically speaking, they were somewhat, how can I put it, colorists or even racist, to the extent that they used to view the Persians or the Romans, their complexions as something that was filthy to them. They hated that. They hated that. Full stop. So it's nothing to do with that. And it's kind of silly when you think about it, when the Arabs or the Muslims described Adam as being a black man with curly hair. How then can he say he's offspring that he strikes?
Can I give milk?
Yeah. Kalam, I want to address what you said. I think that's quite important, that you have racism, which is based, you grade people based on, what group of social race, or or whatever, social construct you can speak about race. But then you also have colorism, which I like that you actually mentioned, and that could be even within races. So yes, everybody is guilty of that. But the problem is if God's best and last messenger pushes this message, that is when it becomes a message, the problem, because this is the role model. So Islam did not start it, but you have God behind it.
I definitely hear what you're saying, and indeed, I don't think the context, initially meant what it meant. But of course, when these types of ideas spread it across different cultures, ethnicities, and nationalities, they may have had a particular racial bias and so forth, and then they did start utilizing these particular texts in a racist fashion. All right. So I'm not gonna, tell Muslims, no, you're safe and dry. No, these texts definitely were used in a racist fashion, where ordinary Muslims did view black people as being the shaitan or the devil and so forth, because they believed the shaitan or the devil was a black man and so forth. But initially, inside of the early or the nascent Islamic or Muslim period, it was never viewed, racially at all. It was never viewed racially. But once it spread and it got into contact with other cultures who had racial biases, then these faulty understandings did actually arise, and Muslims did, this type of racism did creep into the actual nations that was attached to Islam.
If I can say one last thing, Kalam, you won't believe me what I'm going to say right now.
No, we could do this off air. We can say that off air.
Okay.
Close down the show. And I'm grateful to have my brother Raza popping in.
Always.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, I'm gonna shut down now. It's too late for me. It's too late for me, family. Gone over 3 hours. Okay, over 3 hours. All right. So tomorrow. No, let me not say tomorrow. Let me just say that we're gonna continue this off air, and hopefully the next time we go live, we can continue with some other types of discussions. Well, all right, family. So thank you guys for actually tuning in. Can I get some nice little peace and thumbs up from the audience members? Okay, and I need you lot to help us out and make sure you share the show with your friends. Yeah. All right, family. Yeah. I'm signing out right now. Gabs, say salute to the audience, baby. Say salute.
Peace, everyone. Peace, everyone on the chat room. Peace, everyone in the panel. It's been good, man. It's good. We'll do this discussion again.
Oh man. All right, Raza. Last words, P.
Yo, always, man. Everyone, make sure you like the video, share it, big up everyone on the show. Get me, we does this, innit? We does this.
Jeez. All right. Peace, brother. Peace.